All right. Hey, good morning. It's the holiday. It's not. I'll explain in one second. Actually, let me be straight up with everybody. I do want to be fair. You know, I'm a guy that likes to be an open book. I like to tell you as much as I possibly can about why things are going on, and you might say to yourself, hey, wasn't today supposed to be the holiday drinking show? It doesn't look like you guys are doing that. And the answer is no, we're not. We're not doing the holiday drinking show. Now, we're going to do it. We just decided that today wouldn't be the correct day. And you might say, why is that? And I feel like it's probably pretty obvious. It's not the appropriate day. Because obviously, in this business, when there's something of significance that occurs, it needs to take precedence. So no, we're not doing the holiday drinking show so that today we can reflect and spend time sharing our most significant memories of Deontay Johnson's time in Baltimore. So it was important that we prioritize correctly. And I just wanted to provide that transparency for you. That's what's going on today. A 2-hour show dedicated to
one of the greatest Ravens in
franchise history.
Yeah.
And, that's the way it goes. When somebody moves on that's left an impact on our city, we want to make sure we take the appropriate time. All right, so yeah.
Not just what he did on the field.
Right, yes.
It's how much he contributed off of it as well.
Look, man, I'll tell you a quick story about why it is that we're not doing the drinking show today. Yesterday, our friends at Grade 8 Memorabilia were hosting their annual bowling party, their Rolling with Santa party. And I wasn't going to be able to make it because as you guys know, I've been through a lot. Unfortunately, my father-in-law passed away last week, and it was very sudden, and my family has been dealing with that. So we had my wife's whole family, cousins and aunt and uncle, and my late father-in-law's wife and her son all came over to our house for Christmas. My father-in-law was supposed to be hosting everybody for Christmas yesterday. That was what we did every year. And so we obviously wanted, we still wanted to have everybody together because it's been a very difficult week, as you'd imagine. We just knew that we needed to do it at our house, so we shifted everything and we did it at our house. And it was, it was a lot, but we were grateful to do it. We wanted to do it. But it's a lot on top of still grieving, on top of everything that we've been going through. And everybody came over in the morning, and we had breakfast together, and somewhere around 1, everybody was we were all saying our goodbyes. And my wife was like, hey, wasn't Chris's bowling event today? I'm like, yeah. She's like, why don't you just take the kids? They've been through a lot this week. It's been a really tough week. Why don't you take them, go try to have some fun? And I was like, all right. So I text our friend Chris Ruling, and I say, hey, buddy, I think I'm going to swing by for a minute with the boys. Drive over to the Parkville Lanes, which is a bit of a haul from my house. But it's a great event. And got there about 1:30. It started at noon, so we're still going to have an hour and a half that we're going to be able to hang out for, and say hello. And, as I was walking in, our friend Kadri Ismail was right there. It was good to see him. Bordy was there. Santa was there.
Oh. Why don't you leave
Actually,
with him?
Kadir Ismail showed up as well. It was good. I hadn't seen Kadir since he was I hadn't talked to him since he was a kid. And we walk in, and I go over, I start chatting with Chris, and we're getting ready to do some bowling. And all of a sudden, I look over, and my 7-year-old, I just hear this sound. And I look over, and my 7-year-old is yakking all over the floor of the bowling alley. Now, not on the lane itself, but out in the hallway, just yakking. And I'm like, dude. Yeah, he's hearing me talk about it.
He confirmed the story.
Yeah, we'll get back there. So, needless to say, we had a very brief stay at the Grade 8's rolling with Santa party, which I felt bad about. But, I mean, Chris is a wonderful person. We appreciate everything he does and what he means to the community. Who's here? Who is it? Susan. Susan! Come here. Come here. Which Susan? Tall redhead? I don't know. Is it Susan? Oh, it's this Susan. Susan, come here. Come here. Susan, I've got something for you, first of all. I've got that for you. Hang on, I'm going to give Susan a hug real quick.
Okay.
You do something.
All right. I would love to tell everybody about what do I want to tell everybody about today? I want to remind everybody about the Governor's Challenge real quick, which starts the day after Christmas. That'd be on December 26th when the top high school basketball talent from across the country return to the Wycomico Civic Center. That is, again, December 26th through 30th for the Governor's Challenge presented by Pohanka of Salisbury. You can witness 5 full days of elite competition featuring over 140 high school basketball teams from 16 states plus Canada. Multiple top 10 teams and nationally ranked players will display their talents on the court, so don't miss the best experience in high school hoops. For tickets and info, visit govchallenge.org, govchallenge.org for more info.
Thank you, Griffin. I appreciate that. So I say all this to say Sam got hit by one of those 24-hour bugs, which is not the end of the world, right? Like a lot of people get hit with them this holiday season. And I'm gonna let me be honest with you for a second. Today is also Festivus, as you know, and I was thinking maybe we do an airing of the grievances at some point. Here's one of my grievances. A lot of you use like something as trivial as a 24-hour bug as an excuse to not do things during the holiday season. You get overwhelmed. I mean, I get it. We are all overwhelmed. All of us. But a lot of people, and you know them, they're in your life, will use, 24-hour bug. Oh, guys, I just don't know if I can be there for... You don't want to go.
My cousin did that this weekend.
Yeah?
Actually. Yeah.
Can't help but know. Everybody would be willing to work with you. Everybody would be like, hey, dude, we're cool. Like, now, if you're throwing up or whatever, it's one thing. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the people that got a 24-hour bug that have an event 2 days later and are already thinking about how their 24-hour bug can get them out of that event 2 days later. Oh, I don't know. My kid was kind of a little under the weather yesterday. First of all, we're all going to get sick. Like, let's just be honest about it. If you've got COVID, I get it. If you've got something more, and if you're in the middle of whatever you're going through, I'm not talking to you. This is not Glenn saying, go be sick and hang around with everybody. I'm talking, no, thank you, Sam. It's a very specific group of people, and you know who you are. It's that you use this as an excuse to get out of the things that you just don't want to do. Who get a 24-hour bug, have an event, like you got it today, you have an event on Friday, and you're already like, I bet I can use that to my benefit to not do that event on Friday. Because you don't want to just say, I don't want to do this event on Friday. I am the opposite of that. I'm the person who says, we are plowing through. Now, I get it. Sometimes I probably am a bit too aggressive in that way. Like, I acknowledge that. I'm the type of person that if it's Thanksgiving and you got COVID on Monday, it's Thursday, let's go. Like, I acknowledge I'm a little aggressive on that in that area. Still, I wasn't all that concerned. 24-hour bug, it happens, right? All's good. Life moves on. So I wake up this morning, and I'm ready to go. I've actually spent time preparing some skits and bits for the drinking show today. That part I'm very frustrated about because I was up late working on some of that last night. Like, I was prepared. Griffin even made the pizza beans, which hopefully we can save for next month.
Yeah,
By the way, the plan will be due next Monday. I'll explain it more in a second. I'm sorry. I feel so bad for Susan. I don't know if she got the note, but she did get her autographed Zay Flowers picture. So here's the deal. This morning, my wife comes running into the room and says, I have to go back to work today. I was like, well, I know that. You were planning on going back. My wife obviously took all of last week off. I was like, you plan on going back? She said, no, I've got to go in at 8 now. And I was like, what? She's like, there's an issue with the person that had been filling in for me, and they can't be there today, so I have to work a full day today. She was just going to go in a little bit later, kind of ease back in, right? Like, which I appreciated that her work was trying to. Everybody has been wonderful. Everybody here at Press Box has been wonderful. Griffin and Leah and John all showed up at the viewing, and Luke. It was very sweet. Everybody was very sweet. Thank you, and all of you have been wonderful. And her work had been wonderful. Had the whole week off, and a lot of those people showed up for the. I mean, it was lovely. But today, at 8:00, they needed her back, and I said, okay, well,
what sound did you make?
What's that?
What sound did you make?
Who's gonna watch the kid? Kids. I have to.
No.
Yeah. It was a lot. It was a lot like that. Wow. No. I'll never be able to do it. That guy is the greatest actor of our generation. We should have gotten him on the show. Son of a bitch. That was the one.
Find that guy.
Is Ian Petrella joining us, by the way?
He is. Yes, that is true.
I'm excited about that. I'll explain that to people in a second.
I
I haven't put it in. I haven't even posted the rundown yet. Anyway, the moral. I'm really long. This is very long-winded because we got lost for a second. I had nowhere for the kids to go. My mother-in-law was dealing with an unrelated issue. My mother was dealing with an unrelated. No, people still have to work today. Apparently, not as many people were off as I thought. I had nowhere with that quick turnaround from, in particular, given the fact that my kid was coming off a 24-hour bug. Then I was like, well, they can come. Maybe I'll just not drink, and everybody else can drink. And then, like, I was reminded of the optics of like having people get drunk around my 9 and 7-year-old kids.
I mean,
and particularly one that's been sick. And I was just like, oh, there's no way this is gonna work. So I feel terrible. I'm very sorry. We pushed the drinking show back to next Monday. Now, some people, as I said today, if you were planning on coming in today and you've got a donation to make the Helping Up mission, I still have an autographed Zay Flowers picture for you. If you're planning on stopping by at some point between now, and I'll probably be here till after 1 o'clock today, I got you. And I know a couple people are. I didn't know Susan was coming by, but I know a couple people who are, and I appreciate that. Like our buddy Chris, we call him Verge. He's coming by. Tony Iafola, love you. But we will also probably still have a few of these left over next Monday, and so we'll try it all again next Monday. And it'll be weird doing we'll have maybe a little less holiday to the drinking party next Monday.
It'll still be December.
It's
not New Year's yet.
It's dude, I had prepared. We were gonna recreate. I don't know. I'll talk about it with Jeremy when he jumps. Yeah, by the way, he's the luckiest man on the face of the planet. He's Lou Gehrig. Anyway. I don't know, man. It sucks. But yes, please still come by with your donations, underwear, toiletries for Helping Up mission. We'll hook you up with an autographed Zay Flowers photo if you can come by today. Just not doing the full-on drinking show until next Monday. And if we run out of these, then I'll try to come up with something else for people for next Monday. I don't know, man. It's just been a week. It's been a month is really what it's been. And we appreciate it greatly. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for all of your support, and it's just what it is. Best laid plans of life. My poor Leah came in this morning. Ready. Yeah. Leah's favorite day of the year is the drinking show. That's a fact. Her favorite day of the year. She alters her schedule. She's in. Leah will do more shots than I will, and then I'll pass out on the couch, and Leah will be like, "I'm good." Like, what's wrong with you? Leah's still doing like a full day's work. I'm asleep by 1 o'clock. It's not fully true. She'll do shots with us. She doesn't do more than I do. I don't want to make it seem like Leah's getting drunk and working. That's not what's actually happening. You don't need to protect her. She can. No, I don't want to make it seem like that. She's like literally the best person I know. I don't want to ever do that to her. So that's where we are. Hey, look, the Ravens beat the Steelers. So, good mood all around, right? Like, today's a good day. Despite the fact that it just didn't go the way that it was planned. All right. In a couple of minutes, our buddy Femi Ayanbadejo is going to check in. It's really funny. So Femi was late joining us for Project Gameday because he had been at the game, and we were doing this like kind of festive, like, hell yeah, the Ravens beat the Steelers show. And Femi, of all people, came on and was like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I know it was good, but I just think it could have been better. So Femi called me yesterday. Like, I felt like you were really thrown off by what I was saying. I was like, I mean, I was, but I get it. I understand. So we're going to let Femi sort of explain his thoughts. And I understand where he's coming from. And I think both of how we feel is valid. Like, I know what he's saying. there's absolutely truth to it. I'm just good with it because it was the Steelers, right? Like the unique circumstances. Did the Ravens? They did not play a perfect game.
They did it without Deontay Johnson.
Correct. Well, they're going to have to do all of it without Deontay Johnson.
What?
They might be against Deontay Johnson, in fact. But we'll let Femi talk a little bit more about this. So, as Griffin just mentioned, part of what I wanted to do for, again, the holiday drinking show, the holiday drinking spectacular, is I wanted to have some fun, and I wanted to do some, like, some silly things on the show. And we tracked down. You're going to be watching over the next couple of days. You're going to turn on TNT, TBS, whatever, and you're going to watch A Christmas Story. And we tracked down Ian Petrella, who played Ralphie's little brother, Randy. You remember, of course, Ralphie's little brother, falling down, couldn't wear all the coat, and wouldn't eat his mashed potatoes. Yeah. We tracked down Ian Petrella, and the idea was we were all gonna, hey, this is gonna be great, and it was gonna work perfect for a holiday special. It's a little bit different, but I think it's neat. I really still think it's neat that we're going to track down and chat with Randy, the actor who played Randy, Ralphie's little brother, in A Christmas Story. I'm looking forward to that. And then Jeremy will join us, and we will dish out our pats on the ass. So all of that is coming up on the program today. We do still have a lot to do. Can we do it this way? Can we grab a break first, just so I can kind of get the...
Sure thing, yes.
I appreciate that. All right, we'll grab a break. Femi joins us next. We will discuss what I believe is a massive win for the Ravens, but he says still not totally satisfied. I'll let him explain when we come back in on Glenn Clark Radio.
Treat yourself and taste the Baltimore tradition that is the legendary Costas Inn. Hey, it's Stan the Fan Charles. For over 50 years, the Costas Inn has been a Baltimore original, dishing out their amazingly scrumptious, fat, award-winning crab cakes and steamed crabs. Every season is crab season at Costas, so make your plans now by calling 410-477-1975 and reserve your taste of heaven. Sit back, crack some crabs, and watch the Ravens chase down another title on Costas' 15 TVs. On Monday nights, Costas offers their half-pound jumbo lump crab cake with 2 sides for under $30, and there are nightly specials Monday through Friday. So head on down to the Costas Inn at 4100 North Point Boulevard or visit them at costasinn.com.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
The drug scene in Maryland is changing. Fentanyl and xylazine are being added to street drugs, and you may not even know it. Xylazine is not even intended for humans, and fentanyl is an opioid 50 times stronger than heroin, and contributed to over 80% of overdose deaths in our state. Anyone who uses drugs, even occasionally, is at risk of overdose. To learn more, visit stopoverdose.maryland.gov or call or text 988.
The votes were all counted, and the results are official. Royal Farms was named #1 for food in the USA Today 10 Best poll, receiving more votes than any other convenience store chain in America. The next time you want to get some good food fast, doesn't it make sense to go to Royal Farms? Voted best in the USA and home of world-famous chicken. Real fresh, real fast, Royal Farms.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now, and it's our very special Best of 2024 issue. On the cover, we celebrate our Mo Gabba Sports Person of the Year, Lamar Jackson, as Bo Smolka profiles what the quarterback means to the community beyond the football field. Also inside, we celebrate the top people, performances, and moments of the year in local sports. Press Box is available for free at over 500 area locations, including 60 Royal Farm stores, and you can always read the entire issue and find the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com.
Need a trophy or award that's as unique as the achievement? Look no further than Crown Trophy. With locations in Owings Mills and Gaithersburg, they specialize in custom trophies, plaques, and medals for any occasion. From sports and academic awards to employee recognition and corporate gifts, visit crowntrophy.com today and let them help you create a lasting memory for your school, team, or business. Crown Trophy is a proud supporter of the Maryland Public Secondary Schools Athletic Association. crowntrophy.com.
One of the things that's definitely wrong with this country is that this dude still has a job somehow, some way. Glenn Clark.
All right, back in here on GCR. Look, man, I know this guy is cut from a different cloth than I am. Like, I'm quite aware of that, and we've seen it a million times over the years. But, dude, Femi Ayanbadejo, are you sitting outside? It's like the coldest day I've ever experienced in my life. What are you doing, bro? Oh, he's on mute. Femi, unmute yourself real quick. Our Super Bowl XXXV champion. You hear him as part of Project Gameday.
There we go.
Hey,
yeah, it's not that cold, brother. It's not that
Stop
cold.
it.
As long as
It's
not
not
windy,
that
then we're
cold.
good. You know what I'm saying?
God, it is cold out today. I walked
All right.
in. There was a water bottle in my car that was frozen over when I got outside this morning. Like, it's definitely cold today.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, I'm sitting out here chilling. I'm good. I got to go for coffee. I got my winter coat on. I feel pretty good, actually.
You are a different cat. There's lots of reasons why you and I are not the same person. This is high on the list. Hey, buddy, Merry Christmas. Appreciate you. So yeah, like as I was telling everybody, you because you were at the game and you're just trying to find a place. You had hopped on a little bit later during game day on Saturday. And we had been like kind of reveling in. Ironically, you know who was closest to agreeing with you, which is really funny, was Andrew Stetka, actually. Like who you guys had been going at each other the week before. Yeah. But we were mostly reveling in a Ravens win over the Steelers. And I get that you certainly. It's not like you weren't excited or that you weren't happy that they won, but you still wanted to see a little bit more from them than what they gave us on Saturday.
Yeah, I think it's all about the nuance, right? The sequence of events and how the game unfolded. The game in Pittsburgh, some things went wrong that pushed the game in their direction. Obviously, 18-16. That interception was just an amazing play. Justice has that ball. That never happens, right? Yep. That's a freak play. How often does a team kick 6 field goals? You know, we have been, I think, a top 3 team in the red zone all year. Maybe the number 1 team in the red zone. We get to the red zone, we're 2 for 5. We just didn't perform. You know, Derek fumbles on his first carry of the game. We did all the things you could do to lose that game, and we lost 18-16 with a chance to tie on a 2-point conversion. We made mistakes in the game on Sunday, in my opinion. Desmond King fumbles the ball, we recover it.
Yep.
Lamar strip sack, we recover it. Shank punt, we were able to recover from that, so to speak. You have Russell Wilson running like he's in a field of dandelions, about to score a touchdown. And if not for our Darius Washington just dropping his hat, which very rarely happens. We see it a couple times a year. Stops him from basically first and goal on the 2 or 3 yard line. Yeah. You can't count on plays like that to win football games, although we see teams win games like that on plays every weekend. That's not how I think I want us to win. I just want us to play clean football. The penalties were obviously to a minimum. The offensive and defensive lines kicked their ass, like physically just out-physicaled them. And I knew it was going to be that kind of game from the very first drive, and I love that. So to me, it's all about Super Bowl-worthy performances. It's all about AFC championship-worthy performances. And to me, that's a borderline AFC winning championship performance. You know what I mean? Because you just can't have those things happen and think all those things are going to bounce your way. Although I know through the law of averages, they do tend to even out. So I think over the course of the 2 Pittsburgh games, the crazy things evened out that happened to them. Mm-hmm. It happened for them. They won. It happened for us. We actually pretty much kicked their ass. I just think we're a better football team across the board. But I don't want to rely on that. And Lamar's precision passing really carried us. And what really was the key, in my opinion, was the zone read. Lamar was so patient and said, you know what? They're playing zone read on me all day. The minute I go outside, there's a huge lane for Derek. Let me just go ahead and give him the ball, and let's make our lives easy. I don't need to be Superman today. He made the plays that he needed to make, which I loved. And then on the flip side, you look at the Commanders game and the Philly game. Without Jalen Hurts, the zone read is dead. What happened with Saquon once Jalen got hurt? It changed the whole complexion of the game. But just multiply that times 5 for Lamar based on the athlete he is compared to Jalen. Although Jalen is the MVP for that team. Well, okay, let's say Saquon is. Well, it doesn't matter. Without either one of them, they're not who that they are, right? It's something that they both need to be on the field.
With both of them, they're indefensible, right? Like they're indefensible with both of them on the field. If one of them is off the field, they're still capable, but they're not indefensible any longer.
Their offense is not as dynamic, and then you saw guys getting kicked out of the game. You saw Philly lose their cool. Yep. They imploded basically. That's why they lost that game. Mm-hmm. And Washington remained calm, cool, and just kept chipping away. I'm trying to nuance the differences between how effective zone read is when you have a running quarterback and when you don't. And then to go back to my initial point, I'm so happy that they won the game. I actually had the score in my head, 31-17. That's the prediction that I made before the game, actually. So I thought it was going to be 30 points. I thought it was going to be a double-digit win. And what I'm excited about is even with those little things that they left on the field and with the plays that they needed to make, I just think we're a lot better than Pittsburgh. I know Pittsburgh is well coached. They've got a good quarterback. They've got a solid group of running backs. They've got a physical offensive line. Their bread and butter is really the deep ball on offense and their ability to contain offenses on defense. And when they can't do that, they're not the same football team. I don't care who's out there. So I think what I wanted to get at is I got on the call late on Saturday, and I felt like I really dampened everybody's vibe, and that wasn't my intention. What I probably should have done is said, hey, great win, love the win, always good to get a divisional win at home and to really kick a team's ass. Like, it's always good to do that. Yeah. But let's pump the brakes a little bit because there's some things that still need to get cleaned up. And to me, it's ball security, right, and special teams. Because the mistakes that happened were basically ball security and special teams related. We're in the bottom third of special teams as a unit this year, and that's a problem for me. So, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that everyone knew that, you guys, come on, I'm the purplest wearing, purplest drinking, purplest bleeding, ravenous raven you'll ever be. I know that. That's me. But at the end of the day, I still got to keep it real. I can't sit up here and just tell you guys lies and just act like as if I don't see some things that could need to be cleaned up. That's my critique.
And like I said, I didn't think that you were trying to say that no, this sucks or anything like that. I thought it was an interesting perspective. And as I told you, and I stand by it, I am willing to. It's funny that in a game against the Steelers, particularly given the recent history against the Steelers, I'm probably more willing to give them a pass for some of those things and say, okay, you're right. I know they need to be better. But my God, you needed to get this over this mental hump that like clearly, dude, listening to those guys after the last Steelers game and hearing the way that like Marlon was talking about it, it just felt like it was almost overwhelming. So I know you're right about everything you're saying. It just felt like it was such an incredible hurdle for this franchise to get over that I was sort of willing to say, I'll deal with the imperfections on this day because it was just imperative that you get over the Steelers thing right now.
Yeah, I think all those things are true, and timing is everything, right? You know what I mean? Like maybe the better approach would be, hey, I'm going to be on Monday, and let me talk about the things that we need to clean up, right? But let's enjoy the win. And I tried to do that a little bit, but I just think the timing of how I got on late, just being, at the stadium late, feeling rushed and not really having time to really sit down and process. And being in the stadium is electric, by the way, right? Like, it was wild in there.
Doubt,
so,
right?
And I had a couple Diet Pepsis, you know what I'm saying? I had a couple drinks, drinking drinks that I don't normally drink.
Well, I don't know. What is your drink of choice, Femi? What is in those moments?
I'm a Northern California red wine, like cab drinking. That's like me. I don't really drink liquor these days. And if I do, it's, it's going to be vodka soda or some really good aged tequila. And I had a bunch of vodka sodas, bro. And they took their effect for sure.
Hey, bro, it's the holiday season, man. It is.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
bro,
right.
This is the only time. Like December is my month.
You've told us that.
I'm still on my fitness stuff. Yeah, but like when it comes to like a little extra cake, a little extra this or that, a couple extra drinks, holiday, I'm going to enjoy December because when January comes, your boy goes into the figurative cave. It's on the grind. It's strict. It's like getting the year off on the right foot. So, I'm enjoying myself a little bit. And Saturday night, I definitely enjoyed myself again.
Let me run just a couple of things by you really quick because there is a quick turnaround, obviously, to playing on Christmas. And it's almost insane that this is the situation that they're in. The loss of Justice Hill, we're all presuming that Justice Hill is not going to be available because it's such a quick turnaround, and we all want to make sure that we're taking concussions seriously. I guess if you get cleared, you get cleared. So if for some reason Justice gets cleared on tomorrow, then he'll be allowed to play. That's the way that it works, right? Like it is that simple with these things. But assuming he's not playing, John Harbaugh said that Keaton Mitchell would be available for them. We all saw that Keaton wasn't quite the same guy when he tried to come back this year. What do we make of what impact there would be if Justice isn't available on Wednesday and they're going to turn back to Keaton Mitchell?
Man, I really love what Justice Hill has done. I mean, I really do. We're going to miss him if he's not available. Is it Ali 26?
Yeah, Rasheen Ali, yep, correct.
Hey, I thought he looked good when he got a chance to play. So I don't know where Keaton is. And I know Keaton, in regard to pass protection, hasn't always been sound. It's kind of like he comes in, he's getting the ball, he gets a couple plays, and he goes back out. You know what I mean? That's kind of like the role that he's had. Whether it's a screen, whether it's him on an option route on a linebacker, running a wheel route, handing it off to him on outside zone. You should kind of give him a couple touches and then get him out of the game and then get him back in. I do think it's time to kind of start. If you're going to use him in the playoffs and he's going to be a viable threat, it's time to give him some time. And this might be the opportunity to do it. But I like what I saw from Ali when Ali played.
Yeah, no, actually, and he got a few snaps before that, and he looked pretty good.
Yeah,
right? He got a few snaps in the last game.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering how Coach Harbaugh balances the exposure to game live bullets versus kind of not really playing that much. Ali might be a little better prepared mentally, emotionally, physically for a game than Keaton is. But they know better than us. I'm not out at practice. I don't get to see what's going on. I don't get to see what they're working on. But there's nothing like game exposure to prepare you for a game. And just Keaton hasn't played that much. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But we're going to miss him. If he's not out there, he's been so effective. He's low-key been, one of the more explosive backs in the league. You know what I mean?
No, he's been great. He's been great. And obviously his story is what he's done as a pass blocker is just
it's crazy, dude.
It's amazing,
dude,
man.
That video of him, do you remember when we had that maybe it was Andrew, maybe it was Griff, I'm not sure. Griffin, maybe you can remind me who it was, but we kind of isolated that picture of him on Myles Garrett. He actually was kind of holding his own. I mean, he just needed to get in the way, but he didn't back down. You know what I mean? And so kudos to him, dude, for being a little diminutive guy, but let me put it this way. He's short, but he's not small. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We always say that
no
about
question.
Ray Rice,
yeah,
right? He's short,
yeah,
but he's not
that's correct.
small.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
He's tough. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
That dude is not skipping days in the weight room.
No.
He's doing his work. We talked about it before you hopped on. Justin Tucker makes 2 kicks, including a 50-yarder. Does it? Where are you at as someone who had made peace?
You know
with,
where I'm at. You know what I said.
I know you were at that. Where are you at factually? I mean more like confidence-wise. Where are you at with Justin Tucker?
It doesn't matter. He's the guy. I went on a rant on 98 Rock. I do a podcast with Dennis Pitta. I do it tonight with Kirk and Marianne, and there's an awesome reel that they cut and clipped, and I am so hard. I'm going to send it to you, Glenn, actually, and maybe you can kind of see it and see what I'm talking about. I forgot how passionate and how supportive of Tuck I was, and the bottom line is that it's hard to gain trust and it's easy to lose it. And the bottom line is there's nobody out there. So my thing I've been saying is that you wrap your arms around him. You say, I don't give a damn what happens. I don't give a damn how far that kick is. Your ass is going out there. You're going to make that kick. There's nobody else. It's you, and that's it. Take that pressure off of him. And I'm pretty sure that's probably what happened, because that's what I saw.
Yeah.
I saw a confident dude that got support from his team, the owner, the front office, and the head coach and his teammates, and he went out there and kicked like that. And that's what we needed. So I'm really happy with where he's at. I'm as confident as I can be, but
it's all still in the back of our mind. I get it. I get it.
Perfect. I'm at peace. He's our guy. He's a Hall of Famer. I'm loyal to him. And at this point in the season, there's no other option. So we're going to go for it. We're going to ride or die, man. Ride or die. That's
all right.
it.
And then last one for you, because, dude, you mentioned it earlier. The thing that maybe stood out the most to me, and we do our we call it pats on the ass. We do it a bit where, our game balls, whatever you want to call it. And Roger Rosengarten is going to be on my list big time. That jumped off the page to me. There will be someone who say, hey, T.J. Watt looked a little compromised playing 6 days after a serious injury. So give me, from your perspective, how much credit you believe the offensive line deserves, how much of it might have something to do with Watt not being 100% of T.J. Watt, because it looked like Roger Rosengarten had the game of his life to me on Saturday.
I mean, he did, and it doesn't matter. Everybody's banged up. There's no excuses. You block the guy that's in front of you, so I'm not going to qualify it at all. He played his ass off. Yeah. The offensive line came out firing. The first series, I was like, oh, it's going to be that kind of game. They were coming off the ball. And to watch Derek, what did he average? Was it 7 yards a carry? Did he have 6 or 7 explosive runs? I think it's
Griffin's checking it right now. Yeah, it was nuts. It was nuts.
Yeah, so like I said, it was a team effort on offense. It was Lamar doing his job on zone read and not being greedy, right? Because sometimes Lamar's like, hey, I'm gonna take this thing and go do my thing, right? But Lamar said, you know what? Nope. I'm gonna sit back here and I'm gonna slice him and dice him from the pocket. I'll use my legs very sparingly when I need to. Derrick Henry, it's his show today because that's what they're giving us. So we're gonna take that. And the precision passing in the red zone to Bate, right? The pass to Mark Andrews, the touchdown to Isaiah Likely, the timely throws, Zay Flowers. My God.
Yeah, with the game on the line still. With the game still on the line at the end.
It's just crazy.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy. The offense, I just love what I saw. They checked all the boxes and everybody contributed. And it all starts with the O-line. It all starts with them. If you don't have an O-line, you don't have an offense. You know what I mean? Now, Lamar can cover up some warts, but, man, they really went out there and showed up and showed out. And I'm really proud of those guys for that, and Roger especially.
No doubt, man. No doubt. All right.
Seven explosive runs, 6.8 yards
Yep.
per carry.
Yeah, it's
Okay, good. All right.
pretty damn
So
good.
I think that's the most explosive runs in one game this season, I believe. I think that's
Yeah,
I think
correct.
that's
Yep,
accurate.
next-gen stats.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yep.
great, man. All right, Femi.
Cool.
We will see you
All right,
on
gentlemen.
Wednesday. We love you, buddy. Appreciate you as always.
I love you guys too. I probably will. I won't be having vodka sodas in me on Sunday, but I will have. I will be
Sunday.
drinking some
We're
California
dude.
Cabernet.
Do you? So who else here? Like, do you have family that you're spending the day with?
Yeah. Yes.
Awesome.
So my kids, their mom is from Catonsville, so her whole family is from Baltimore.
That's
You know,
awesome.
she's one of 5 siblings, one of 4 siblings, and her mom is one of 14 children. They grew up in the Catonsville area. You know what I mean? So they're deep. The O'Connell family, right? I'm actually half Irish on my mom's side. Their family's all Irish, right? And so the kids live in Towson now. Both my kids went to McDonough. My son's a senior at McDonough now.
Right.
And so I do the holidays with mom and grandma and our kids and her siblings. So yeah, I always have somewhere to go. My girlfriend's family is from Rockville, and they live on the Eastern Shore now.
Okay.
But usually her and I celebrate in the morning. She goes to do her thing. I go do my thing. We come back because we live together here downtown.
That's
We
dope.
come back and then we celebrate and do our thing. So yeah, I got
great,
plenty
man.
of family. And I know you'd invite me over, Glenn, if I had nowhere to go.
Bro, you always, let's make it an open invite. Let's make that unbelievably clear. I come to wherever we could all get together, the group of us, and have our own little gathering on Christmas and celebrate. Love you, man.
All right, brother.
Merry Christmas.
Love
Talk
you
to you
guys.
Wednesday,
Cheers.
all right?
Thank you.
See
Appreciate
you, buddy. It's Femi. Love Femi. He's the best. All right, so you tell me what we're doing here then. You tell me how this is
We're
going to work.
talk to Ian Petrella.
Okay.
Is that fine? I'll call him right now.
We'll make it work.
Yes.
Somehow.
Yes.
Okay, do we have a couple of fun? Sammy, I love you. I got to do a show today, pal. Okay. Can I let my 7-year-old say hi real quick?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Sammy, you can say hi to everybody real quick, all right?
Hello.
Hey, no, not like that. Not like that. Okay. All right, very good. You excited about the Ravens beating the Steelers? Was that exciting?
Sure.
He's not my sports fan. That's my 9-year-old. My 9-year-old
I
is
never-
all in.
I never asked.
Right, thank you. All right, pal. You have anything you want to say? You want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas?
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
Now that's my guy. That's my guy. I do love that. All right, buddy. Can you ask Graham if we can put a movie on?
Graham, Dad asked you if you
Can we put a movie on, Bubba? Yeah, dude. You've been playing games for a little while. Why don't we put a movie on? Bring the computer in here. All right, put on Home Alone then. Can you do that?
No, we don't want to.
All right, put something. You gotta go out there. I gotta do a show. I love you.
Can I take
That's
this?
my guy. No, you can't take that.
Oh, man.
All right, say goodbye to everybody. All right.
Bye-bye, my friendly friends.
That's my guy. That's my 7-year-old Sam who's with us today. It's that type of show. That type of day today. Hey, Femi will be back. Project Game Day returns on Wednesday. Myself, Femi, Rita, KZ, Steck, Griffin. Josh was here on Saturday, so I don't know if he's hopping back on Wednesday, the great Josh Charles. But we want you to come hang out with us immediately following Ravens Texans. PressBoxOnline.com/GameDay is the place to be. It's brought to you by the Governor's Challenge, Easy Pass, and HelpMyGamblingProblem.org. All right, this is truly a Christmas miracle. I am so nerdy excited about this conversation, and he's probably going to roll his eyes and say, oh, great, another one of these guys. But at some point this week, you and your family are going to sit down and you're going to watch A Christmas Story. Chris, hang on real quick. Chris came by with a donation. Can you say hi to Mr. Chris? You know, he always hooks you up for Halloween. All right, I was in the middle of doing something. It's a crazy day here. It's a crazy day. Ian Petrella's like, what did I get myself into? You're going to sit down and you're going to watch A Christmas Story with your family this week. And when you do, you're going to see our next guest who played Ralphie's little brother, Randy Parker, in A Christmas Story. He is Ian Petrella, and he's with us this morning here on GCR. Ian, it's Glenn. It is such an honor. Merry Christmas to you. Thank you for taking the time for us this morning.
No problem. Hey, what was the number for that gambling problem?
Yeah, 1-800-GAMBLER.
No, I'm
if
kidding.
you or a loved one that has a, Ian, are you a big sports fan by chance?
Yes. I mean, here's the thing. People think I'm not a sports fan.
Okay.
Because I do. I like sports. I love sports. I watch sports. It's just I don't have a team. Does that make sense?
Okay. I am like that. So in Baltimore,
now, I know any sports fans be like, you're full of S, that you can't do that. And I say, no, because I love music and I have a favorite band. But I talk to people and I say, who's your favorite band? And they say, well, I don't have a favorite band. I just like music. It's the same thing. So
It's actually not like you like watching the games. You're just not emotionally invested in them.
Yeah, I'm in Cleveland, and I used to live in Cleveland. I lived here for 10 years, but I was out at a bar last night with some friends, and the Buckeyes were playing, and I watched the whole game.
Okay, can you soak up when the energy is like that? When everybody is living and dying. Okay, I dig that. So you actually wait a second. You actually live in Cleveland now. What is it like?
No. I did. I lived in Cleveland for 10 years. That was about 5 years ago, and then I had to move back to California because I had to take care of my mom.
All right. But what is it like when you're? First of all, and now I have so many more questions because you're not originally from Cleveland, correct?
No, not at all.
So did ending up in Cleveland have to do with the film and the business or anything like that?
Well, it had to do with the house.
Yeah, okay, that's what I wanted. So were you involved with?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was. I was really good friends with the owner, Brian Jones, of the house.
Wow.
Like, we were like best buddies. We became friends once we found out. He bought the house, and then he got in contact with all of us, and we started doing signings and appearances in the Cleveland area. Just because, that's where the house was, and we shot part of the movie there. And so I became good friends with him, so I started working with the house. And I did that for about a year. And then that just turned into me staying in Cleveland. Because, it was way different than L.A. And the fact that you can get, a one-bedroom apartment for $600 as opposed to a studio closet for $1,500. Right. You could actually be an adult in Cleveland and have your own place and not, live with 5 other dudes who are in their 30s.
But so this is cool though because and I know I've learned more about this sort of like connection in the family that you guys have. But like I get nervous that like we reach out and you're like, dude, really? I don't. Come on, man, really? But it sounds like the fact that you were so connected, you kind of dig being part of this and. Sharing memories and looking back and reflecting and not being like, oh, God, another person who wants to talk to me about a Christmas story.
Well, when you have a good payday, yeah, you're more than happy to be part of it. But, no, I mean, look, here's what I always say. I can speak for myself, and I can't always speak for the other cast because we have different philosophies and ideas of what it's like to be attached to this movie. My thing is, I never said that I'm famous. Like I'm not famous. I'm in a famous movie. And so when people meet me, I'm kind of like the representative of the movie. And even though, they do love the scenes and they, love the character Randy, and that's all great. And I enjoy it. And you have to. I mean, it's been 41 years when we made that movie.
Wow.
And the fact that the reason why I'm in Cleveland now is because I was doing an appearance at the house.
Oh, that's cool.
And 41 years later, there's still people coming up to you going, man, I really love this movie. Thank you so much. So, you do have to appreciate it. And you also kind of come to an understanding that the fans of A Christmas Story are different than fans of, say, like a Star Wars or a Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings or something like that. Where a movie like that, like say take Star Wars for instance, you either look up to Luke Skywalker or Han Solo. Like those are like ideas to be in life. Like I want to be Han Solo. I want to be that suave smuggler. Whatever it is, even if you are an accountant, you want to be the suavest accountant with a Han Solo attitude. But with A Christmas Story, we're not heroes. You don't look up to us. You relate to those characters.
We're chatting
or you are. Yeah. So that's how they kind of see us is like, hey, I related to your character. So they do treat us a little differently. It's like they'll kind of treat us like they already know us.
Is that okay?
Like, I've never.
But is that a good? Because I know that the types of people that you're talking about. We're chatting with Ian Petrella. Like I know who you're talking about. The Star Wars fans, the Marvel. I will say I'm not one of them. I might have been with other things in my life at some point. But like they can be psychotic and like toxic, right? Like I would assume
it has nothing to do with who's psychotic and who's not. It's just how they relate to you.
Right.
Where you meet somebody who's your hero, you kind of look up to them a little bit. Where with our fans, they are very comfortable coming up to you and just, giving you a big hug, because they have a more down to earth approach towards you, and that's how you have to treat it as well. You can't just. We've had some wackaloons,
Okay.
come through, and that's always going to be the case. But for the most part, it's a lot of families. We have a lot of grandparents, and husbands and wives, and then their kids. And this weekend in Cleveland, because I had some old friends here, I had a husband, two people that I knew way back when, like almost 15 years ago. I knew them when they were dating, when they got married, and now they have two kids. And so I said, hey, I'm in town. Why don't you come to the house and I'll give you, I'll get you in and give you and the kids a tour.
Wow.
So I took them all through the house and gave them all a tour
Oh
and took
my
pictures.
God.
And
Oh.
they enjoyed it. And then, of course, there were other people that were there, and they noticed me, and they're like, can we get a picture? I'm like, yeah, of course.
Dude. All right. So, all right. Now I got to reveal that I am a nerd. The Orioles were playing the Guardians a couple summers ago, and I went to Cleveland, and I did, for the first time, I did the tour, and I'm telling you, I might have cried. All right. So now you're not allowed to judge me. You're not allowed to judge me. It's just that, and I think what you're talking about, I feel like the average fan of the film is more like, dude, it's part of our Americana, and we share. Yeah. We share feelings. When we think of the film, we think of watching it with our family. We think about what it means, and it's more, I feel like it's just more of a appreciation that we have for this art that exists and how it has impacted and played a role in our lives than it, than it is like a gatekeeping thing.
Mm-hmm. It's something that people experienced, and I'd probably say the other closest film that I can think of that maybe people feel this way is like The Sandlot.
Oh,
that was about playing, playing baseball.
The irony.
It's just one of Stand By Me. It's one of those movies where, you had that experience. You wanted something really bad as a kid. You got picked on by a bully. You had an annoying little brother that wouldn't leave you alone. You had a dad that liked to cuss.
Ian, you have no idea the irony of you saying this. I have a Sandlot poster over my shoulder as we're speaking.
Oh, really?
That David Mickey Evans, the writer and director, so kindly sent me and signed for me, because I am the exact person that you're describing, which is wild.
Right.
All right. So, Ian, with that all said, can I get a couple of nerdy ones in for you?
Sure.
You just brought up Dad. Darren McGavin to me is like everything, and it was so sweet when you guys made the film a couple years ago, because I remember Peter saying it was like a love letter to Darren and to the old man character, and I think everybody felt that way watching the film. Like, geez, this, he wasn't there, and yet he still might have been the most important character in that film. But Darren, I know you were little, but how much did you feel of his brilliance and how important his role was in this film ultimately becoming the folk sensation that it became?
Well, I mean, being 8 years old, and I didn't know who Darren McGavin was at 8 years old. Now, I knew who Melinda Dillon was.
Wow.
Because she was in Close Encounters. She was in one of my favorite movies as a kid. I knew who Peter was, but I didn't know who Darren was. But my mom knew who Darren was. My mom knew who Darren McGavin was. She knew The Night Stalker and all that. And the one thing she told me, she goes, a lot of times, older actors don't always like to put up with antics of younger actors. So let's not find out the hard way, and let's just be on our best behavior around him. And the thing about Darren is, he had a lot vested in this movie as much as Bob did. Bob Clark, the director, as much as Gene Shepard. He really wanted to do it. He was so glad to do it. It was very important for him to do. And the fact that the part almost went to Jack Nicholson.
I don't think
I don't know if
knew
anybody
that.
knows
I don't
that.
think I knew that.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Jack Nicholson was offered the part first, and he actually was interested in doing it, but his price tag was too much. So Darren got to step in, and he got to do it. And he really wanted to do it. So for Darren, it was just, business on the set. He was like, more focused. He was nice to me, of course, but he treated me as a professional actor. He wasn't like, the happy-go-lucky, hey, Tiger, when we're done shooting, we're going to go, play ball outside. He's like, no. And when we shot in Cleveland, and the house in Cleveland is right next to a bar. So after shooting, he went to the bar. That's what he did. He was a drinker. So that's another reason why he didn't hang out with me.
Oh, you're saying that
eight-year-old
Ian Petrella wasn't hanging out at the bar after the shoot?
Right.
Understandable in that sense.
Yeah.
The joy, like that some people will be in a film like this and maybe won't have a scene that stays with them. You got to have multiple scenes that became iconic and kind of live forever. And I'm sure there's an annoyance to that because like people still will talk to you like you're 8. I'm sure there's still a bit of that you deal with in your life. But like
the only thing that if people want to tell me they love the scene, that's fine. The only thing that gets annoying, and I do have to put my foot down, is if they ask me to redo a scene or recite a line.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't want to do it. It's just I'm 50 now. I'm a 50-year-old man. And it's not going to sound the same. Trust me.
What was there a time in your life like that you recognized the significant? Was there a time in your life where you were like, "Oh my God, this is something way more than I realized"?
It had to be for the 20th anniversary.
Okay.
And because
20 years
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. 20 years ago, we got together for a 20th anniversary. Everybody was there except Melinda. Even Darren was there. And I hadn't seen those guys in 20 years, a lot of them. And we went to dinner, and then we were doing a screening over at the New Art Theater in Newport Beach, California. And as we're driving up, they put us all in a limo, we're driving up, and we see this long line going around the theater. And everyone's thinking, is that for us? And I'm going, no, this is like, Matrix Reloaded opening weekend. That's not for us. Well, I couldn't have been more wrong. That was for us. And when we got out of the car and all these fans were there with stuff to autograph, it was like we felt like the Beatles or something.
Wow.
And I think that's when we realized like how far this movie has come. And Bob Clark got to see that, because this was his movie. Mm-hmm. This was his baby. And he was just so proud that night, to see a packed theater of people loving his movie. And that was in 2003. And then 3 years later, he was killed by a drunk driver. So he didn't get to see any of this stuff that's going on now.
I did not know that, and I'm so boy.
Yeah,
But yes, I'm glad you told the story that he got to experience like what that meant on the 20th anniversary to have everybody together and feel that. Ian, do you have a sense when we talk about the way that people connect with this film? Does it still mean that way much to you? Like if you were to sit down today and watch the film, would it still connect with it, or is it more like does it become like business? Hey, no, this was work. Do you still have that? Is there a feeling that resonates for you that like I'm telling you, most of America will sit down and will acknowledge that a tear will come out at some point during the course of this week?
Well, yeah, I'm always going to have a different experience than everybody else is going to have. And for me, I watch it, I don't really see a movie. I see something a really exciting time in my life I did when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to look at it as a movie. Like, I love movies. I could watch Goodfellas, 24 hours.
Yeah.
And it's still just a movie. It's like, oh, my God, it's an exciting movie. It's an exciting movie. and I got to do a interview with Christopher Cerrone, who played young Henry Hill.
Oh.
So I got to interview him, and I got to fan out and talk to him about De Niro and all those people. So I totally get where people are coming from. But yeah, for me, it's like I watch it and I see a scene and I go, I remember what happened that day.
Wow. Yeah. By the way, it's also cool that it's cool that you still have acknowledging that like a lot of 8-year-olds would not remember all of those details of certain things. So like it's kind of cool that you still have those memories all these years later, and that probably plays a role with it. Ian, what are you up to these days? Is there anything that we can plug for you?
There's nothing right now you can plug.
Okay. Can we plug the? Are you still involved with the business at all? Should we plug anything with that?
Oh yeah, I still am. I really have nothing to plug.
Okay.
So I'm trying to get stuff to plug.
Hire Ian Petrella would be the first thing that we would say, and then two. If you're in Cleveland, if you make a trip, obviously the Ravens play out there every year. I can't recommend it enough. It's a wonderful experience. I keep trying to convince my my sister and my brother-in-law that we take all the kids there one year for like half Christmas and spend the night and do the whole thing and like have because all the Christmases are booked for like years. They are booked for like 10 years in advance. But we'd love to do that at some point. Ian Petrella, seriously, thank you for making the time for us this morning, and thank you thank you for this art that has meant so much to so many people. And I'm telling you, like every time my son wears an oversized coat, I post something on Facebook like, "Hey, how did Randy Parker sneak into our house?" Like it really does mean that much, man. And I know that you get that a ton, but I'm grateful for it and really grateful that you spent a couple minutes with us. Merry Christmas to you. You
too, my friend. Merry Christmas.
Ian Petrella played Randy Parker in A Christmas Story. Thank you so much, man. Spending a few minutes with us this morning. That was neat. That was a little bit of a Christmas miracle. Was hoping for one of those. Jim O'Hara was great, too, last week. Like, that one was a good one, but that was really neat. Appreciate him taking the time for us. It's been a busy first hour of the program, and I really want Griffin to tell you what's going on at Live Casino and Hotel. Maybe I'll have to pitch in and help because Griffin's trying to get Tom Rinaldi on the phone. Every Baltimore-Washington home game, whenever either one of those teams are at home, if you are at Live Casino and Hotel and you insert your card correctly, then you will receive $7 in free slot play anytime those teams score a touchdown in a home game. It's just as simple as that. Really that easy. Am I missing anything, Griffin? Is there anything? You got to be a rewards member, obviously. You got to
have your live rewards card for live rewards members here that have their card inserted into the slot machine, actively playing as well. So hopefully you made it out there yesterday because Washington certainly held up their end of the bargain.
Good number of touchdowns. Saturday, the Ravens scored for themselves, so there was lots of free money, or free slot play being given out this weekend at Live Casino and Hotel. So you want to make sure that you take advantage of that. Also want to make sure you get us your pats on the ass at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter, Facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio. That was another thing I wanted to do today. I wanted to actually have Jeremy here, and I was going to physically pat him on the ass every time we named somebody that was receiving a pat. That was it was all well planned. It was all well thought out. Yeah, these things happen. But still, get yours in at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter. Glenn, you can go GlennClarkRadio@gmail.com, Glenn Clark Radio on Blue Sky. Remember, 5 Ravens, 2 must be offensive players, 2 must be defensive players. Rank them 5 to 1, with 1 being your man of the match. You can win a $50 gift card to Costas Inn just for participating. Pats on the ass. This man was in Baltimore this weekend. He is a man that has openly made me cry many times in his life. He is, of course, part of Fox's top NFL broadcast crew. He's the great Tom Rinaldi, and he's with us now here on GCR. Tom, happy holidays to you, my friend. I know it's a busy time. Thank you for taking a couple of minutes for us this morning.
Glenn, great to be with you, buddy, and happy holidays and the best of this great season to everybody. It's a pretty good season in Baltimore.
Yeah, not a bad time, right? Not a bad time, particularly after Saturday. Tom, can you, get me through Ravens Steelers, because Fox hasn't done a lot of these over the years.
We never get that. We know what I get. That's like early Christmas gift for us. You did that rivalry.
I did. I really did want that perspective. Like, what did it mean? You've done everything, right? Like, also, I don't know how much I've talked to you about this over the years. I'm a tennis nerd, so like, I'm jealous of everything that you've been able to do in your career between tennis and college football. But like, was there a part of you that was like genuinely kind of, for I don't know if you have a bucket list, but like getting to do Ravens Steelers after that being like one of the few things that maybe you hadn't done?
Glenn, not just me. I mean, the entire crew, the truck, KB, Brady, EA, every single person on our crew was so fired up.
Yeah.
First of all, we had it circled, but then to have it contain the stakes that it did.
Right.
This was rare. Well, we know that the rivalry is from the outside. We know how the rivalry is perceived. But then when you hear the coaches, you hear the players, you see their interactions, and when you have the privilege of being on the sideline and you hear what guys are saying, you see how physical and hard-hitting it is, wow. I mean, it exceeded the sale price.
That's so cool.
It was fantastic. I thought it was fantastic.
It's so funny you say that, because I think a lot of people, if you weren't watching the game, would look up and say, well, it was a 34-17 game. But obviously all of us, we know that was a Ravens-Steelers game. For the overwhelming majority of it, it wasn't necessarily the most aesthetically pleasing game. It was competitive as hell. That looked like a Ravens-Steelers game to me.
Listen, Glenn, and you know why? Because if you had to pick the turning point in that game, it's
defense.
Russell Wilson finding an alley, and because he chose not to go right, but go left, inside, deep in the red zone, that happened not that far from where I was standing. That was such a big hit. Wow. I mean, the fact that the ball came out was not a surprise. And I don't quite know. Listen, that was a massive play in the game, obviously, just as the pick six was. But I don't know how you fault Russell Wilson there.
Oh, trying to be aggressive.
Trying to make that play. He's trying to make a play.
Yeah.
Right? He's trying to be competitive. And that, to me, is the nature of that rivalry. That hit. The fact that one guy is going to square his shoulder pads, put his head down, one of the smaller guys on the field, and he absorbs that kind of blow. The fumble happens, and it turned the whole game.
No doubt. Tom, I think it's also kind of a testament to how things have turned for the Ravens this season. I know you guys saw them earlier, but like 5 weeks ago, we really wondered if the Ravens' undoing would be their defense. That like it was very confusing in Baltimore, and we, as you know, we're not used to these concerns. But they had the worst pass defense in the NFL before the first Steelers game. And while they're not the 2000 Ravens, because you can't do that in the NFL anymore, it feels like, and certainly making those types of plays, what they've done has been good enough that if they match that offense, that is good enough to win. I'm not knowing that they will, but it's good enough that this combined unit could win a Super Bowl to me.
Glenn, people want to know, I think at times, what coaching is really worth. How does coaching really affect the outcome? How does it shape or change a team, especially a group that's looking for answers? I think the Ravens are one of the best examples of that I've seen in my time covering the league this season. When they made the decision, right, that we're going to take Kyle Hamilton, we know how great he is closer to the line of scrimmage, but we are going to simplify communication. We're going to put him back. We're going to let him stay in that spot. That was a tremendous decision from the coaching staff.
No doubt.
And I think you can point exactly to that decision, which followed a 2.5-hour meeting. 2.5 hours with the defense, talking it through, guys holding each other accountable, coaches holding themselves accountable for some of the communication, for some of the calls that were being made that weren't working out. I think you see that. No question that has changed the course of this season. That decision with Kyle Hamilton.
No question. And obviously paired with the play of Ardarius Washington, right? Like, who's been,
no doubt.
To your point, and obviously what a play it was on Saturday, but he's been really good. The great Tom Rinaldi is with us here on GCR after he was in Baltimore on Saturday. Tom, it's funny because you mentioned Brady earlier, and as you'd imagine, we got a complicated relationship with Tom Brady in Baltimore because for years, he was the bane of our existence, but yet now he's like the biggest Lamar Jackson fan on the face of the planet.
Oh,
and
Glenn, he loves him.
Dude,
he loves
it's
Lamar.
so much fun.
He loves Lamar.
It's so much fun
Loves him.
to listen to him talk about Lamar, then to hear the two of them interact together. It's so cool, that relationship. And I think that you feel a little bit of, Tom, I don't get caught up in the MVP thing. The Ravens want to win the Super Bowl. Lamar's won the MVP a couple times. They don't have a Super Bowl to show for it. So I don't – but I did sense there was almost like a, hey, I know we're kind of crowning Josh Allen right now, but let's not miss out on what it is that we're watching Lamar Jackson do, because he's a two-time MVP that's having – arguably the best season. I don't know if it's arguable. He's having the best season of his career, which has already involved him getting 99 of 100 possible MVP votes in 2 prior seasons. But I just hope we're not missing how special it is, whether or not it leads to a third MVP award.
I feel like you somehow tapped into the production meeting the
Really?
night before.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of what Tom said at the table.
Yep.
Like, we know he's won a couple of MVPs. I know everyone sees how remarkable Josh Allen has been. No one would ever take anything away from that. He's been Superman. He's made spectacular plays. But Lamar Jackson has been even better than he's been in those MVP seasons. And I think I hope that came across.
Yeah,
Tom's
big
great
time.
respect and admiration for him. And also, Glenn, the joy that Tom gets from watching a guy play that position the way that Lamar plays it, which is very differently than how Tom played it. So I think that informs Tom's appreciation and passion for Lamar's quality, because he sees this is a guy who does things I could not do.
It's so funny, like it's wild to when you put it that way, like it really strikes you. But we know that's true, right? Like we know that Lamar is just he's generational. He's different in that way. If I could, Tom, because you have these production meetings, a lot. We were making a lot, and I still feel like it's significant. Did you get a sense for what the Pittsburgh thing meant to this team? And the significance of getting this we all know how much anomaly was involved with the Steelers having won 8 of 9 against the Ravens, right? Like Lamar Jackson, as you guys talked about, had never played a game in front of actual fans in the stands in Baltimore against the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is crazy. But we also got the sense that like it was impacting them. And Marlon Humphrey, after the last game, was kind of public about them having the Steelers having the Ravens number. Did you get a sense for how significant it might have been spiritually for the Ravens to just get the weight off their shoulders of dealing with the Pittsburgh thing and how the record was so one-sided in recent years?
Sometimes when we overhype, right, we overstate those elements in a professional setting.
Yeah.
Not this time.
Okay.
100%. I mean, if Erin Andrews were on this call, she would tell you. She spoke to Lamar. He was as motivated to win this game as any regular season game he's had.
Yep.
And it was lost on no one in that building, right, on Victory Drive there. Nobody, winning drive, nobody, that he didn't have the chance through the bizarre COVID and injuries, and it's just so strange that he never had the full throat of the bank behind him playing in that stadium, and then he did. And to have that, to show out the way that he did, I think meant a lot to Lamar and to this team. And also, when you look at how strange the first meeting was, Glenn, right? It was just a bizarre game.
Yep.
Listen, I also think it was a very big game for Tucker. Very big to see him make kicks. Listen, he's the GOAT. He's the greatest to ever do it, right? You're in that little bit of a stretch where he's just in unfamiliar territory. He's such such a great player. So I think for all those who've been around and had the chance to cover him, it was great to see him come through. Big game for him.
No doubt about it, and may that continue, Tom, because that has been,
Baltimore. But I think everybody in Baltimore felt like, okay,
yeah.
You know what? The water freezes at 32 degrees, the sun sets in the west, and Justin Tucker's making kicks. The world is as it should be.
We had to ask some tough questions these last few weeks. Like, what? Do we know anything about life? Do we understand anything about the universe? Because we've been able to set our watch to this for some time, and it had been really, really confusing. Tom, I know that you guys still probably see a little bit more of NFC teams than you do AFC teams, although obviously, it's more AFC teams than Fox had in the past. Do you have a sense for, like, who the team is to beat in the AFC? Is it still, do we just default to the Chiefs, like, hey, it's the Chiefs until someone proves otherwise?
I think anything else is just an overthink.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the end of the day, what did you say just a moment ago about Lamar, Glenn, right? He's won MVPs. He's trying to win a Super Bowl. The point is to win. They don't have pictures. They don't have highlights embedded in your record.
Yep.
And the Chiefs win. And winning is a skill. They've lost once since Christmas Day last year. I mean, they are just an incredible example of a team that knows how to win. So I think anything else is an overthink. That's me.
I think you're right, man. I really have. I keep coming back to it. Like, this is, I get it. We're all seeing the same stuff, but to your point, they keep figuring out a way to win the games, and that's what good teams do. And the Kansas City Chiefs they're a damn good team. That's just the reality of the circumstance.
But listen, Glenn, but I will say this, right? Again, to go back to the record, I will say this. I do think there are people who see those 5 losses, right, for the Ravens and the 0-2 start and things of that nature. I'll tell you someone who is absolutely a believer in the Ravens, and that's Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Big time. And he absolutely thinks they could get to and win the Super Bowl. That you have to go. Listen, there's really, really quality teams at the top of their conference, as we know. We just talked about one of them, but the Ravens, I think they're going to be a really, really tough out.
Tom, I'd love to wrap with this if I could. And I know that, like, you're a professional. You're the epitome of professionalism. Fox shared a video after the game of your interaction with Lamar, and I share it in the context of I work for this print publication here in Baltimore. It's called Press Box, and we do a best of issue every year. And Lamar is our Mo Gabba Sports Person of the Year, and that's not. Wow, crazy controversial pick, right? But
yeah.
But seeing the exchange you guys had spoke to me about a little bit more of why Lamar is so beloved in this city. And it's yes, he's one of the greatest athletes we've ever seen. But on top of that, it's not just that he's never embarrassed us. He's just come off as like the most likable figure you could ever possibly imagine. And you go out to the facility and he'll call you by your name, and he's appreciative of you being there and talking to him, and it's almost like impossible to me how genuine of a person he's been, despite being this pop culture phenomenon. Can you, with your interactions with him and seeing this moment that you guys shared, could you share some insight about Lamar Jackson, the person, and what it's meant for you covering him over the years?
I just think, Glenn, and I hadn't seen that interaction was I guess posted. I'm not on social.
Yeah.
But I've known him since college, and I think when you cover someone in college, a very aspirational time, and then someone makes it to the league, has success in the league, reaches the pinnacles of the league, at least in terms of personal recognition. I'm old as dirt, but it feels almost like you take this pride in having been there before, right, while this was all happening. I also covered Lamar as a part of the Heisman when I was at ESPN. I was part of the Heisman ceremony, that show. So there's just a long history there. I did features on Lamar, for College Game Day, things of that nature. So I've known him a long time. We've done features at Fox. I think what you're talking about, Glenn, in a word, is authenticity.
Yeah.
I don't think Lamar Jackson knows or has any interest in being anything other than who he is. And nothing ultimately resonates with people more than being genuine. And I just think Lamar Jackson is not only a spectacular player and athlete, but he's just genuine as long as I've ever known him. He's just an authentic soul. He really is.
It's really cool. Tom Rinaldi, are you guys headed to Philly this week? Is that what's next?
We are awaiting our marching orders.
All right.
We are uncertain at this point.
All right. Tom, I always, you've been so good over the years. First of all, I think you're one of the great broadcasters of a generation, but on top of that, you've been really kind and genuinely authentic, and taking the time for us. And so I hope that you know how much that means. I greatly appreciate you, my friend. Hope you and your family have a great Christmas and a happy holiday. And here's to talking again real soon. Thank you for doing this morning.
Happy holidays. We love Baltimore. We just don't get there enough.
We love more of it. Tom, thank you, sir. Tom Rinaldi. Man, he's great. He's great, man. There was famously at College Game Day a few years back, somebody held up a sign that said, "Real men cry to Tom Rinaldi." I'm like, that's the type of storyteller he is. He's that type of storyteller. He's great. And boy, it really is like wild, the Tom Brady, Lamar Jackson stuff, right? And it's remembering that like Belichick, it's funny because we think about strife between Brady and Belichick, and then you remember how similar they are, and like how obsessed Belichick was with Lamar Jackson, and how obsessed Tom Brady is with Lamar Jackson. It is like you find yourself. It's funny because on the postgame show, Rita was like, "Man, there were some people that were going after Tom and didn't think he had that great of a day, and maybe he didn't." But I feel like I almost miss all of that because just listening to him talk about Lamar Jackson, you almost get intoxicated by it. Like there's just something about how much Tom Brady enjoys and appreciates Lamar Jackson that you end up. I don't know. That's all you hear. It's all you soak in that moment. Let's go over pats on the ass. Let's do that now so that we don't end up being here until 4:00 today.
Why? Where do you have to be?
We actually do have a Christmas dinner that we got to do. We
Dinner.
have that.
Come on. So we can be here till 4.
I tell the boys a million times you can't be running in. We just had a stretch of 3 straight.
That was impressive. You did a very good
job. Dude, I feel terrible because I wanted to post the video of some of that, and then you're gonna see me shoving the boy. Get out. God, we had 3 straight guests, one after another, with Femi, Ian Petrella, and Tom Rinaldi, and they're all guests we wanted. But hey, again, we had to pivot a lot today because we were supposed to do the drinking show, and then Griffin was scrambling this morning. We're like, what are we going to do? And it's a whole thing. So I wanted to talk to all of them, and we just had to figure out a way to make it work. And it was just a bit difficult because then the boys are running in, and I couldn't take a break to deal with them. It's a whole thing, man, just a whole thing. But let's do pats on the ass. Again, you get yours in. You can win a $50 gift card to Costas Inn. We will do an online version of 5 plays tomorrow. We're not on tomorrow. But we'll be posting online. Hey, Steve! Oh, get in here. Would you say hello real quick? I'm so sorry. I don't know if you got the note that we had to cancel having everybody else come in today. It's a whole thing. Steve, my man, it's so good to see you. Merry Christmas to you. This is Steve from Pimlico.
Steve from Pimlico. Okay.
Steve, can you sit down for 1 second and say hello to everybody?
Used to be Steve from Sandtown back in the old days.
Oh, I don't remember Steve from Sandtown.
That's when you were
yeah, all right. Steve, first of all, Steve has been a supporter of ours for as long as I have been doing this. Longer than that, but as long as I've been a part of this, Steve has always been good to us. It's been too long since I've seen you, friend. Thank you for your...
Kids are all growing up. I remember dropping off all the canned goods on Hart Road.
Yeah, 100%. Man, we would have an entire basement full of canned goods, and then the upper level would be filled, and we would do that. Steve was a regular with Drew and I over the years. And still, so Steve, here's a funny... Steve doesn't do Venmo and PayPal, and that's what... Steve will actually put a check in the mail and send it over.
I sent you one like
Yeah, we got it. I promise. And I can't appreciate any more, Steve. I really can't appreciate you anymore.
I'm living in the past.
No, it's all right.
I'm living in the past when the Orioles were.
Yeah. Hey, wait a second. They're good again.
No, not when they were really
Yeah, when they were really bad. When we were. Steve knows what the difficulty was for Drew and I every morning for a summer trying to come up with 4 hours of content and where we would go to try to do a show for 4 hours when the Orioles were awful. Can I give you an autographed picture of Zay Flowers? Can I do that?
I'll find somebody.
Find somebody who'll enjoy that. There you go. That's for you, my friend.
Well, it's great seeing you guys.
Steve, I truly, I hope you know it means the world how supportive you've continued to be over the years.
You're a good person.
Well, or at least do a couple of good things to make up for all the other nonsense.
All I want for Christmas is one more Super Bowl.
My man.
At 75, a couple of years ago, I said, well, maybe I'd like to see the Orioles win a World Series.
It's still not.
Check out.
Yeah.
Then they were getting close. I said, well, maybe another couple of years.
We need you to hold on.
All right, be well.
Steve from Pimlico, love you, brother.
Nice to
Thank
meet
you,
you,
my
sir.
friend. Thank you. Is that your wife, by the way, Steve? Mrs. Steve, thank you. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Thank you so much. This is a good man who has always meant a lot to everything that we've done for helping out Mission and a lot of other. 9 and 7. 9 and 7. Yeah. Yeah, they're shooting up. Hey, boys, did you say hi to Mr. Steve? All right, there we go. There we go. Yeah, you're not wrong. He's not wrong about that. Bless y'all. Thank you for stopping by. It lifts my heart up. Yeah, I got these autographed pictures of Zay Flowers I'm trying to give out. Thank you to the Ed Block Courage Award Foundation for providing them to us. But you come by, you stop by. Griffin, remind everybody what the address is.
It is 8600 LaSalle Road here in Towson.
Suite 509.
Yes, we're facing Putty Hill. We're at the back of this business complex, facing Calvert Hall and
Yeah,
Putty Hill.
Gino's is on the opposite side, and Calvert Hall's behind us. So, yeah, if you stop by today until – I'll probably be here till about 1:30. And then next Monday is now when we'll have everybody come by, and I'll still have a few of these. But please bring by toiletries, underwear, or cash donations for helping up Mission and what we're doing to take care of the folks there. It would mean the world. What was I doing?
Pats.
We were doing Pats. Yeah.
And
Costa Sin, $50 gift card to give away to Costa Sin today for someone who participates. At Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter. Get your Pats on the ass in. This one, brutally difficult week. I mean, I thought there were 8 really viable, not even, just guys that hey, I also like to I mean, 8 guys that I thought, I'll tell you one, I can't believe Ardarius Washington had to be left off my list. Had to be.
Ugh.
There were too many candidates.
Rosengarten's not on my list.
That's insane.
Did
you have an offensive lineman on your list?
I did not.
Dude, there's no way that I can make this list without an offensive lineman.
I mean,
I
had to have 3 defensive guys.
It's the most significant story of the game to me was the play of the offensive line. I would have left off Lamar to put an offensive lineman on.
Maybe I should have.
Maybe.
I don't know. Lamar was on my list, but yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand, and he made my list too, but I thought about it for a second because I thought about Ardarius Washington. And then, Michael Pierce was great.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Was great
Pierce,
again.
him.
And had to be left off the list. Kyle Van Noy was great and had to be left off the list. There were just too many. Zay Flowers at a 100-yard game. Zay Flowers at a 100-yard game and wasn't even really a thought for Pats on the ass. That's how many good candidates there were. It was that kind of game. Number 5 is Kyle Hamilton. And, yes, the 4th down play stands out. But, frankly, I just thought Kyle Hamilton was, from play to play, probably one of the better. I think it was the best defensive player on the field for either team on Saturday. I thought he was that impactful. And, obviously, what Tom Rinaldi's talking about, the significance of how they've used Kyle Hamilton. And, here we wanted him to be the Swiss Army knife, and they basically have had to say, no, you can't be that thing. And yet it's been more impactful with him not being that thing it's a wild, wild way that this story has turned. Kyle Hamilton is so impactful. He is so massively impactful to football games.
Yeah,
He's my number 5.
I mean, I 100% agree, and that's why I had to keep him off the list because I just take him for granted for everything that he has done this season. I mean, he's still one of my most padded players, I think, on the year. But I had to go with 3 other defensive guys just because of that.
I'm trying to think who the third is. 2 are obvious. All right, tell me.
My number 5, not a defensive guy, though. I went with I put Derrick Henry 5 because of
what?
Again, because I feel like any of these guys could be number 1. Honestly,
Derrick Henry's number 1.
He's number 1.
Derrick Henry dominated the game.
I mean, there was another guy that had a big play too.
I know he had big play. Derrick Henry dominated the game.
Yeah, I mean he's a horse. So Derrick Henry is my number 5. And
imagine if I was
again,
drunk.
Certainly could be anyone.
Imagine what I would be saying if we were doing this.
I feel it could be anyone.
Drunk.
But yeah. Derrick Henry certainly on the list, and he's my number 5.
I'm gonna choose not to fight today. Number 4.
I mean, I feel like I don't have a good argument either way to move him up.
He was just dominant.
He was
set the tone.
The Ravens were dominant. That was kind of the story.
For Lamar Jackson, he was. Look, yes, did he fumble the ball? He did, and that's probably a little bit more on Ronnie Stanley than it's on him. It's just the way that it works. Like that's going to happen. He didn't see it coming. It was blindside. There's fumbles that are awful, and then there's some fumbles that you say, hey, there's not a whole ton that you can really do about that. Like, you want to say your internal clock needs to be moving a little bit quicker. It wasn't like he was holding on to the ball for a lot in that spot. That was Highsmith, right? I think that made that play.
Oh yeah.
And then the interception was bad, right? And like if it weren't for if the interception was bad, and if it weren't for the interception being bad, maybe he's number 2 on the list. That might be the difference in him being 2 or being 4. But he was really good. He was Lamar Jackson. Maybe he wasn't as dominant on the ground, but as Femi pointed out earlier, that's because he was great in the zone read.
Yeah.
Like he was controlling the zone read and seeing that the play was the give. That was the play. And it's funny because we have no stat for that. Like we have no way of adding that to the credit that you give someone for making the right decision in zone read, but he made all of the right decisions in zone read. Well, most of the right decisions in zone read. Number 4.
My Kyle Van Noy was my number 4.
Okay.
That's where I threw him in
He was
here.
really
I
good.
mean, yeah. He had a
really
great
good.
game. Like four pressures, two sacks. I guess they officially was 1.5, but I mean, he was getting back there, and it's Raven Steelers, and we needed somebody to go and take over, and Kyle Van Noy freaking took over, especially late there. So yeah, Kyle Van Noy was my number 4. Had to be on the list.
Look, man, Kyle Van Noy was really good. He was no question about it. He was really good. 3 is Marlon Humphrey, and I said we'll do an online version of 5 plays tomorrow. I probably tip. I'm still torn between the 2 plays, which one is 1 and which one is 2. I guess the fact that Marlon Humphrey pops up at number 3 on this list probably tips my.
Yeah,
I'm struggling with it because 1 was a touchdown, right? And that's the difficult part of it. But the other one,
saves a touchdown,
gets
right?
You
the ball back.
You can argue that it's 6 points.
Bigger.
That each one was a 6-point play, right? You really can. I don't know. Marlon Humphrey's 3. That's all I got.
Ardarius Washington was my number 3.
Fine.
Totally I mean, maybe again, I'm not sure yet either. Maybe the biggest play of the game. I mean, 7-7.
Yep.
I mean, it was just an awesome play. The smallest guy on the field going up
100%.
and laying out the other team's quarterback. That's why you watch.
Not
football.
that Russell Wilson isn't one of the smaller players on the field too, but yeah,
that's why you watch football though. Those kind of plays. It's just.
Number 2 is Roger Rosengarten. My God, Roger Rosengarten. And you can say, the Ravens helped him out a little bit. They did. And you can say that maybe T.J. Watt was a bit compromised by the injury from last week. Sure, say all those things you want. The game still happened, and Roger Rosengarten still did what he did and took T.J. Watt out of the game. And he wasn't even always lined up on. There was one play, and I don't remember. It might have been Ryan Mink who shared it, where Roger Rosengarten slid all the way over to the left guard spot and picked up T.J. Watt as he moved. Roger Rosengarten was awesome. I want to write a sonnet about Roger Rosengarten's performance on Saturday. He was phenomenal. Does that guarantee that if they play the Steelers again in the playoffs, that he'll be able to shut down T.J. Watt? Not at all. No idea what that means. All I know is that on Saturday, he was great. Roger Rosengarten's number 2.
Yeah, I mean, again, I maybe I'll have to watch. Because to your point, T.J. Watt was completely muted.
Nothing.
He wasn't there. He wasn't there. He wasn't there.
And it wasn't always Roger Rosengarten, but you go back and watch. It's a lot of Roger Rosengarten.
Lamar had to be on the list, so Lamar is my number 2. The interception was not good. The rest was very much pretty good.
Yeah.
Outside of that, every other decision was right. I mean, the balls that he was throwing were just. I mean, every single pass to the sideline, like the Bateman touchdown, that likely was that a third down conversion, the one to likely on the sideline, when they were deep in their own territory, from their own end zone, like that was. It was. I mean, it was Lamar Jackson was Lamar Jackson, and it was really fun to watch. So Lamar number 2.
Derrick Henry is number 1 because Derrick Henry dominated.
Marlon Humphrey was my
game.
number 1. I feel like it's going to be the play of the game.
It's a Christmas miracle. I still love you.
Marlon Humphrey, number 1.
I actually have a gift for you. It's just not going to be. Maybe it's best the drinking show got postponed. I'll save it for next Monday. I think it's going to arrive tomorrow. So I was going to just give it to you on Thursday, but maybe I'll wait and we could save it for Monday. We'll get them up at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter. You got yours. Share them, and you can win a $50 gift card to Costas Inn. I know it's a busy day, but get yours in. Pats on the ass at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter, and you can be a winner. Jeremy Conn joins us next. Glenn Clark Radio.
The top high school basketball talent from across the country returns to the Wycomico Civic Center December 26th through 30th for the Governor's Challenge presented by Pohanka of Salisbury. Witness 5 full days of elite competition featuring over 140 high school basketball teams from 16 states plus Canada. Multiple top 10 teams and nationally ranked players will display their talents on the court. Don't miss the best experience in high school hoops. For tickets and info, visit govchallenge.org.
Hey Baltimore, it's number 10, Arthur Millette, and I'm hoping you'll slot us in all season long for the Arthur Millette Show. We will be traveling around the region all season, giving you the chance to get to know me and my teammates. There will be some football talk and a lot more. You can watch this show live on Pressbox's Facebook and YouTube pages and listen every Friday night on 105.7 The Fan. Find out more at PressBoxOnline.com/Millette. The Arthur Millette Show, the only show in town that's a work of art.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
The ultimate fan experience awaits you at Sports and Social Maryland. See how we're raising the sports bar with our massive 100-foot media wall featuring 40 HD TVs and a 47-foot big screen. Bet on your favorite teams and this year's biggest events at the FanDuel Sportsbook while enjoying your favorite beers and cocktails, plus our delicious takes on bar food classics. Visit Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, at Arundel Mills. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The drug scene in Maryland is changing. Fentanyl and xylazine are being added to street drugs, and you may not even know it. Xylazine is not even intended for humans, and fentanyl is an opioid 50 times stronger than heroin, and contributed to over 80% of overdose deaths in our state. Anyone who uses drugs, even occasionally, is at risk of overdose. To learn more, visit stopoverdose.maryland.gov or call or text 988.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from DriveEasyMD.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. There, you just saved money with Easy Pass, all without slowing or receiving a notice in the mail. Well done, thrifty driver, well done. Get your Easy Pass at DriveEasyMD.com.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
All right, back in here on GCR and what's been a really harebrained day. Like, it's just been all over the place. My son apparently still wants to check in before the show is over. We'll let him say hello again. We'll let him do that. Hey, today is the final day for you to take advantage of that I've been telling you about this. The CIAA tournament is coming back to town, and you still have time. But you got to do it today. Act now to save $10 off your single-session general admission tickets for the CIAA tournament, which returns February 25th to March 1st at CFG Bank Arena. Go to CIAAtournament.org. That's CIAAtournament.org, and use the code HOLIDAY when you purchase your tickets, and you will save $10 on those single-session general admission tickets. But today is the final day for you to take advantage of that offer, so don't waste any more time. If you've never checked the tournament out before, commit now to making this the first opportunity to do it, and use that code HOLIDAY, CIAA, or CIAAtournament.org. This man, the luckiest man on the face of the planet, because otherwise I would have been we would have never talked again. Well, that's not true at all, but still, you know what I mean. He's Jeremy Conn, and he's back with us this morning here on GCR. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
What's up, man? You're going to even be more mad at me. So listen to what I found out this morning, that my son, he got a new job with Fanatics Sportsbook, and he'll be going in D.C., so he needs to go down for training. And since he totaled the car we gave him a while back, we've been playing car roulette, which means a lot of times I'm just stuck home with no car, and what do I care? I stay at home anyway. But with today, I left, and I should have taken my wife's car. It didn't even cross my mind. And when I got to work, I'm like, I gotta drive back home and drop the car off to him. So I got all the way back here, and then he tells me they said he could do it virtual. I can't even make this stuff up, man. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Come on.
I'm not more mad because we had to cancel the show anyway. But if that had played out, I would have.
Was there something else that went wrong today that you had to
cancel? Unfortunately, I don't know how much it's been a tough stretch for my family recently. My father.
Yeah, man, I'm sorry for your guys' loss. I mean, I was reading some of it, but I'd rather talk to you than.
It sucks, man. But her plan, they were going to soft pedal her going back to work. Like, that was the idea. Was she was off all last week, and they said, hey, why don't you just come in like for a little while this afternoon? And they've been great. Like, I got to be honest, we've been really fortunate. Everybody's been wonderful. But then I guess something happened with the person that had been filling in for her, and she got a call this morning at like 7 o'clock that was like, hey, you have to come in today. And you've got to work. I'm sorry, you've got to come in and work a full day today. And so then my younger son had been hit with this 24-hour stomach bug yesterday. So we asked like my mother-in-law, my mother, and neither one of them could watch. And then at that point, we just didn't want to, like, sick kid. You don't want to ask someone who's not immediate family to watch them, right?
Yeah,
and we were just running out of time, and so it was, I guess he's going to have to come to work with us. And then, I can't be the guy that's like, hey, my kids are here, so let me get drunk. Like, I can't do that.
Well, we could have got them drunk, too.
That's true. That's a good point. It could have been.
We got to be responsible with it because we can't make them drink the same size shots we're drinking.
Right, exactly right. Much smaller, yeah.
And I wish you would have followed through with my business proposition that I had was a lot like, Jake with his, you got a door, you got a gym. You got a closet, you got a babysitter.
That's a great point. That is a good point.
Yeah,
we could have. The number of times, by the way, that I have learned that my wife has left the kids at home when she went to the store. Like, this comes up casually. She doesn't tell me ahead of time. I find out later. She's like, oh, sometimes I let the kids stay at home while I go to the store. Like, that. I'm like, no, I don't know that. No one's ever mentioned that to me before. You're doing it casually now because you're trying to gaslight. Like, oh, you agreed to that. You've been supportive of that decision. No, we can talk about it.
Though, because, like, I don't know about you. I mean, your parents are still together.
But I'm feeling 22. Yeah, my parents are, yes, correct.
So my parents got divorced, and for a good portion of time, my dad being a single dad, and he actually got custody of us. It was my brother's 2 years older than me, so we could have been an 8 and a 6-year-old at house all day by ourselves.
Right.
Like different times, obviously.
100%.
But I'm sure, like, if you grew up in my household, that what you're talking about wouldn't be a huge deal.
Yeah.
But I totally understand it from everyone else. It's like, how could you do that?
Well, something that we've been dealing with recently is like I have had friends that have been watching Home Alone and like laughing at, like, imagine one of these kids. Imagine a kid from this generation being in that like they wouldn't know how to wake themselves up in the morning. Like, make breakfast. But we at that age, Like, we were just used to it. Like, we were just like, all right, man, like, I can get by. I could get by for the day as necessary. Like, I can warm up a Hot Pocket. I can figure out what I need to do in order to survive.
Well,
These kids are not at that level.
One of the craziest things that happened to me, like, and I've told this story before, my wife and I took in 2 kids. They're twins. They lived with me for a little over a year, and I treat them like they're my own kids. One of them's just finished playing football at East Strasbourg. The other one's in the Army working on helicopters in Germany. Like, really good kids, really sharp kids, but because of their family situation, they were left home all the time alone. And the reason they came to live with me is that their mom got a job working for, Southwest. And so she's gone all the time, even though they're 16 years old then. I'm like, you guys come live with me so there's food in the house. You got nothing to worry about if something goes wrong. And I told her when they're ready to come back, so be it. So we did that. Long story short, and just like talking with them, the first time they spent the night at my house, now this is before I took them in, it's my kids, me, my wife's at work, and I'm like, I smell something. I'm like, oh, something's burning. What is that? What the hell's going on? I come running out, and they're frying up eggs and bacon, or not bacon, they didn't eat bacon. They're frying up eggs and chicken sausage on the stove and like flipping it, and I'm going, you're 10. What are you doing? My kids don't know how to use the microwave. Because I thought my house or my apartment was on fire at that point in time.
No doubt.
Hey, Coach,
man.
you want something? Yeah, I want you guys to get away from my stove.
Yeah, stay hello. I tell my kids get a kick out of a story that I tell them. The first time my parents ever left me home alone for the weekend, right? I was 15, I want to say. And to be clear, my grandparents lived down the street. So if something happened, if I needed a car, I could just call my grandparents and say, hey, could you come get me? And I had other friends that were already driving, that were already 16, that were going to come pick me. This was not my parents just like, hey, good luck. They knew that I was taken care of, and they left plenty of food. The first day was Friday. My parents leave me home alone for the first time. There were some mozzarella sticks in the freezer, and I was like, I'm going to put these mozzarella sticks in the oven. Like, that's what I'm going to have. I'm going to have a nice, responsible Friday night mozzarella stick dinner. I put the mozzarella stick. I don't know what happened to this day, but all of a sudden I started smelling fire. And I go back in, and I open up the oven, and the mozzarella sticks are on fire. And I grab the tray. Thankfully, it was around, I guess it must have been around this time. There was snow on I just grab the tray, run outside, toss the mozzarella sticks and the tray into the snow. Like, everything's fine here.
Well,
nothing happened. No problem. I mean, like an idiot, I left them there. And
oh, no.
My parents get home on Sunday. And my father's like, what the hell?
Well, I think my worst mistake, I feel like we're doing the lethal weapon thing now. Because one thing you say leads me to something, and something I say leads me to something. But the one time that I was at home and royally screwed up was a similar situation to what you're talking about, but like burning something in the house. My parents used to put locks on the cabinets because I would eat so much food at the house and just like nonstop. But I remember one time, I don't know if I've told this before, I made rice, and as a child, I didn't realize rice swelled up. Like it got some. I'm like, this isn't enough.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm talking about? Like you could put a cup in there.
You put more rice? Oh God.
Yeah. So I put like 4 cups in there, and I made like a spaghetti pot worth of rice.
Yeah.
And then I'm going, holy hell, what do I do with this? Because I can't. Like, you're not eating that much rice. So I put it in one of those gigantic bowls that maybe you have like Halloween candy in. And I took it downstairs and I tried to hide it. And then my stepmother found it. She was like, now you're eating rice every day until you finish this thing. So I got to a point where I poured green Kool-Aid in it, and I tried to convince my dad that it was mold, and they didn't make me eat anymore. But just an embarrassing, stupid thing to do and get busted, man.
I don't know, man. I think that's pretty well done. I think that's pretty well done, to be honest.
That big ass thing. I could every morning you got up and opened the fridge and you wanted to grab something to drink, or if you're eating breakfast, maybe you're getting a bowl of cereal, you would see that big bowl of rice.
Yeah, just waiting for you, man. No doubt. All right, so we're bumping the drinking show back. It'll be next Monday. You're good next Monday?
I'm good.
All right, we're still going to have holiday elements to it, and everybody's just going to have to deal with it. I know it's going to make no sense.
I mean, we're coming into New Year's Eve, and we just celebrated Christmas.
So I'll tell you a couple things that were on the docket for today. The first was I got this request. Someone who came to my father-in-law's viewing heard me talking about how much I enjoy watching the SNL Christmas special every year. And they said, have you guys for the drinking show ever acted out any of the skits or the sketches? And I was like, I think one year we sang Dick in a Box. I think, didn't we do that? I think one year we did that. But I had gone through and I had written out the transcript.
I believe that's what got us kicked out of that side, actually.
Was that?
Yeah,
that
I think it was
the
Dick in
reason?
the Box.
I had gone through and written out the transcript of the Sweaty Balls sketch.
Oh,
I had written
Sweaty
that
Balls.
out with the idea being that I was going to be Molly Shannon and you were going to be Anna Gasteyer, and we were going to let like Dennis Shockett or Tim or somebody be Alec Baldwin. So we're still going to do that. I don't care.
Gotta be tennis.
I actually really like that because, real quick, just piggybacking off of this, my wife asked me my 3 favorite Christmas movies, and one of them is Jingle All the Way. So we started watching that yesterday.
I heard you talking about that on the show last week, and
Yeah,
I don't remember that. I thought we were doing it because it was kitschy. I didn't realize that you genuinely love the film.
Oh no, it's one of my favorite. Like, I love anything that Schwarzenegger's in because of like the soundboard prank phone calls that people were doing when they were using his voice, like when he prank calls that Asian lady.
Yeah.
And it's just some guy with a soundboard playing clips of Arnold Schwarzenegger. So yeah, but Jingle All the Way is like when he starts yelling, "He got two," I lose it every time. You know, it's just it's a great movie. But I was explaining that story to my wife then as well, talking about like. It felt very Andy Kaufman-ish, if this makes sense. Because when we started it, it was really good.
Yeah.
And then I felt like when we started to get into the middle, we're like, how much more of this is there?
Right. Like, we're doing the whole thing. Like, I could.
You did a movie.
I bit off way more than I could chew. Like, way more.
But you had to finish it, man. You couldn't stop
Well,
then.
but that was also, remember, that I think that was the COVID year. So we were like, well, nobody's coming in. So I got to come up with other things that we can do. Well, we've never tried something like this before. Let's try it. I still stand by that was good content. I still stand by that to this day.
Oh, I don't.
was-
I'm just saying for us doing it.
Oh,
you're
it
not
was-
getting a live reaction
Yep,
from an
not
audience.
at all.
You know?
Like, it's just us 3 idiots sitting there. Like,
it'd be like doing stand up into a microphone with nobody there.
Yeah,
like,
is-
you need to find out if the
is
jokes are
anyone
funny
still
to them, not
is
you.
anyone still in on this? I don't know. So yeah, this is a 5-minute sketch. Like, I think we're gonna be just fine doing that.
What about them? I mean, it is the holidays. Have you looked at any of the holiday drinks? Now, the hot Dr. Pepper doesn't have alcohol in it, but I know that's some fad that's going around.
Hot Dr. Pepper? No,
well,
we can do that.
Have you heard of it? It's just you pour a 2-liter bottle of Dr. Pepper in a what's it called? A crock pot, and then you drop in some sliced lemons and you bring it to a simmer, not to a boil, and then you serve.
We can do that.
Everybody's saying it works.
We can do both the regular version and then maybe throw a mixer in.
An alcohol version.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like, I could make that. I could make a hot. Griffin made the pizza beans. I actually feel bad. So I don't know if you know the story, but there was all this hubbub on the. So Luigi Mangione, when he first went to jail, there were these like reporters, because everybody in the country is obsessed with this guy. It's a very weird moment that we're having as a country. Everybody is obsessed with him, and so these reporters were like lingering outside the first jail he was in, like yelling in, doing interviews with anybody in the jail who could was out playing basketball or something. And one of the things they found out was that, like, again, this is how obsessed the reporting was. The first night he was there, they said dinner tonight will be a choice of like chicken or pizza beans, and the internet was like, what the F are pizza beans? Like, what
is that?
So it's Griffin. Is it?
I mean, it's essentially like a bean casserole, more or less. It actually smelled pretty good.
Well, that's disappointing.
Well, I mean, they are serving it to humans, I guess. So like, you would expect it to be.
Like beans.
I've been in jail. Like, I know the food they.
I don't think it's gonna be good. Like, I don't think it's gonna be like I don't think it's gonna be like good, but like it smelled. Like, there's pleasant ingredients involved.
All
like,
right.
it smells.
So
it smelled kind of like
Griffin made it
pizza sauce
and brought it today. We're gonna put it back. We'll freeze it and then we'll try it again on Monday. All right. So
Okay.
we're gonna do pizza beans. I'm good with doing the hot Dr. Pepper. I'm fine with that.
hot dog.
Hot doc, an old hot doc. We're gonna do
I'm
sweaty
gonna
balls.
see if I got anything interesting to drink to bring.
Yeah,
I usually.
we need you for that. And we need, what else do we need? Oh, we need. Can Proctor still do a quiz? Oh, yeah. Griffin still has some leftover Malort. Can Proctor do a quiz next Monday?
I would assume so. Yeah, he said Monday works. but
Okay,
yeah,
all right. So we'll do a Proctor quiz, and the idea was going to be that the losing team, and I did let Jeremy in on this, the losing team from the Proctor quiz will have to perform the Creed AI Rudolph. Did you watch that video that I sent you?
It's awesome. It's great.
Rudolph.
What like?
It's
I mean, what do you
Rudolph,
think? By
It's
the
not
way,
real music,
first off,
I
what
the
do you think?
red-nosed reindeer. That's it's a version.
Her-
It's Rudolph, but it's 2 higher by Creed. And so the losing team will have to perform that at the end of the show. I think that's enough to qualify as a holiday special, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Absolutely.
we've got a holiday special. We're doing it next Monday. Now, we did still have people show up today to drop off, but I think we're still going to have some of these Ed Block. Chris just said I could donate his to my kids, too. So, son of a bitch.
Okay.
Our guy, Chris Vaskakis, of course, came by. Of course he did, because he's the best.
Yeah.
So I'll pull those two aside. I think we'll still have like 5 or 6 of these autographed Zay Flowers signs for people that come by with donations to Helping Up Mission. And if you miss out on that, then Jeremy will give you an open mouth kiss. That's the way that it'll go.
That's better than helping the Helping Up Mission.
Well, you'll still be
like,
helping
I could
the
cure
helping.
all these guys with an open mouth kiss.
You still do both things. We'll still
I'm
help.
kidding, obviously. Helping Up Mission is great.
Yes,
so,
we love Helping Up Mission. And he'll sign something for you, and that'll be just as valuable as Zay Flowers.
Just bats or balls, so make sure you've shaven. Look, hey, I am kind of curious though with some of these events now. Like we plan out all this stuff, and I know you've been doing this for years, having fun with the things you got to eat, some of the worst ones.
Yeah.
Are you still in dead last place? Because I feel like this is the worst punishment that I've seen for anyone yet.
We haven't done picks recap yet today, but indeed. And for a moment this weekend, it looked like I think I was like 4-1 after the first set of games, and I was like, oh, good. Yeah, and then I lost. I finished 4-4.
You started 2-0.
I started 2-0, and I want to say I was like 4. The college game screwed me. I went with.
You went underdogs.
I swept college football this week.
Well, I went on Saturday. I went with all 3 underdogs.
Jeremy, you went 8-0. Jeremy, you went 8-0.
Did Jeremy really go?
We had a push, so it was
Look at
8. You
that.
went 8-0.
Well, congratulations, pal. Yeah,
Was
I
the
am.
push the Thursday night game?
No, it was the Minnesota-Seattle game.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a 3-point game. Yeah, so I finished 4-4, which again, by my standards, a banger of a week. The problem is, Paul Valley went 5-3. John Proctor went 4-4. Joseph, anybody that was anywhere close to me. The only person who had a bad week was Ryan Schell, who was previously in first place, but went 1-7 this week and is now 2 games back of first place.
Who's in first?
Listener James Revere has moved into first place by himself after a 7-1.
Brother?
Yes, Paul. Exactly, Paul. This was, truth be told, you're not going to believe this. It's actually Ben Revere's brother, not. That's the bummer.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the bummer of it.
Yeah,
He's not. Everybody's like, "Hey, I want to talk about your famous brother," and James is like, "Yeah, the thing is, it's not." The British are not coming. It's actually just a really mediocre outfielder. Like
some good years.
Yeah, some good years.
Do you get the opportunity, or like, is there a chance you can pull out a last, or you just?
Yeah, there's still. No, I'm assuming I'm in last place. I am assuming there's no getting out of this. That I am. In fact, I'm already talking to John Rollo about what strikes will be the worst. Like, what should I ask for? Because he gets to choose. But like, maybe I could beg for mercy in these situations. Like, would you please not kick the meatiest part, or please kick the meatiest part of my leg? It's a nightmare. And then I thought about, like, I don't know how do we do the Brazilian on the air. Because I still need to be able to get jobs after this. Like, I can't. We got to really tastefully
Are you getting
figure
a full
out.
Brazilian?
That's what we were supposed to do.
Oh my!
Yeah.
Man, that's awful. And you still haven't even got to the worst thing yet. Like that. Freaking whatever that fish
what's
juice.
it called?
Couscous Paulista.
The sardine fruitcake.
Yes.
Yeah, not great. Not great. Yeah, everybody had a good week except for Ryan Schell. Everybody had a good week.
Who can you catch? Like in best case scenario.
Paul Valley is best case scenario. I'm 4 games behind Paul. I am 4 games behind Paul. Fell a game further behind because he went 5-3 this week. That's the best case scenario. Now we still do have 2 full weeks ahead. It's gonna be weird this week because we're gonna make we'll post the Christmas picks tomorrow on the website because we're not doing a show, and then we'll do the rest of the week on Thursday. But it's what it is, man. I just assume I'm losing. Like, I'm just assuming that I'm losing.
Can I ask you, were you as mad at the NFL this weekend as I was? And it's probably going to carry over to Christmas Day as well, with this scheduling and how they put all these games up.
Well,
like I was saying on our show, and we didn't get a chance to talk about it much because it's like so Raven centric today. But you know, my family came over my house. A lot of people from out of town. My brother lives in Arizona. My dad lives in North Carolina, and so on. So like people come in. They're all sitting in the kitchen and dining room talking, laughing. I'm the only one in my living room watching the Ravens game. You know, like you feel obligated to do it. Plus, I want to do it. But They're on like every single day except one over the next 2 weeks.
So I hate the Christmas thing. I'll acknowledge that. I hate it. I hate that they're playing games on Christmas. Not that I hate that they normally play. They should never be playing games on a Wednesday. They should be ashamed of themselves. Truly. Like, this is awful. There's no way around it. Like, if Christmas is on a Wednesday, hey, for 1 year, I wouldn't even care if they did like a triple header on Thursday. People are taking off this week. Do a Thursday triple header like it's Thanksgiving Day. You know, like play a game at 1, a game at 4:30, and a game at 8 on Thanksgiving or on Thursday, and people are going to go to them and people are going to watch. They do They do a Black Friday afternoon game. They're clearly good with the risk that some people might be at work. There might be people that are at work on Thursday, but there are way more that aren't. So do a Thursday. The Wednesday thing is shameful. Like, it's naked, it's shameful, it screws up fantasy stuff, it screws up it's obnoxious that they're doing this Wednesday nonsense.
I hate it, first off, and the same thing you said. Like, if Christmas falls on a Sunday or Monday,
whatever.
You don't have to reroute everything you do. That's the NBA's problem then,
right?
Because Christmas has always been the NBA's day, to showcase themselves. So. And the same thing, like, we get our first ever college football playoffs, and granted,
now that one's that's more complicated though, right? Because like the NFL has always played games on Saturdays after Army Navy, like
they have, but they specifically picked these teams so they could play them on Christmas Day too,
right?
Because
the turnaround. But I still think they were going to be playing a game. I don't know what the correct answer. It did suck, and I felt some of that on Saturday where I'm like, because I wanted to watch the Maryland game, right? And I wanted to. Yeah. I'm one of the few, but Johns Hopkins was playing in a playoff game, which was a thriller, by the way. It was awesome. They lost to Mount Union. But like, I wanted to watch all of these things, and I'm like, Jesus, this is nonsense. I can't do it. I'm going to have to sort of focus on certain things. So I feel that, but I don't know what the correct answer is, because the argument would be that the college football playoff kind of infringed on the NFL's thing, which was playing these Saturday games, and the two, like, the people should have gotten together and say, how do we work this out? How do we make this better for football fans?
It's like, you're pushing your grocery cart. You're going to put the biggest, heaviest thing either on the bottom or in first, and then fill it up. And I think everybody almost has to flinch when the NFL's on their date, because like today's a perfect example. College football knew there was Monday Night Football, so the Myrtle Beach Bowl is actually happening right now, which I know everyone's probably not listening to the show because they're watching it.
Right. It's a big one. Yeah.
and then the other game was Fresno State at 2:30. So like, they're like, all right, we're not going to compete with you. I mean, there should be a little bit of, I won't say camaraderie, but like, these guys need to get in touch with one another and say, hey, how can we plan this out best? Like, some things are just going to be totally unavoidable, but I don't think this is one of them. You knew when the playoffs were starting, and I think the NFL had to know as well, but they want to get on this. I mean, this is Netflix next week or this week.
Yeah, I can't. The Christmas thing is awful. It's awful.
There's like 20 people on their broadcast team for 2 games, like comedians and actors and all kinds of nonsense.
I did see that, which is very silly. It's extraordinary. I don't know. They have to work this out. I also. A lot of hand-wringing about how the playoff games went, and I hear it, but it kind of backs up what I always say when people complain about Maryland football. Like, dude, this is a sport of haves and have-nots. Like, unlike almost any sport that exists. In college football, there are a couple of haves every year, and everyone else is a have-not. In general, there's a bunch of haves, a group of haves, and everybody else is a have-not. And, like, Indiana was a neat story, but I'm being as honest as I can about this. That's the high water mark for Indiana football. And they were always going to get drubbed. They were always going to get their ass kicked. That was always the way it was going to go, and it's the best it's ever going to be for them. They're not going to sustain success. Kurt Cignetti's a good football coach. That's either going to have to choose if he wants to go to LSU or whatever job. USC seems like that might become available next year, or he's going to get his ass kicked at Indiana, because this is not a sport where the system is set up for newcomers to come in and join the party. Oregon is 30 years in to their heavy commitment financially to football, and they still to this point have all of 0 national championships to show for it. It just doesn't work this way with college football.
I was arguing with people because the whole point of it is, at least in my opinion, and this is what I thought we always wanted, is like you have to reward the conference winners from the big schools or big conferences. We know the Power 5, or if you want to call it 4 or even 3 now, I'm listening to you. but they're still honoring those other conferences. And then all the at-large teams. And what we wanted, like my brother's a Bama fan, and he comes over to the house on Saturday, and he's like, Bama would have done better than SMU. And I just looked at him and said, that's not what it's about. Like,
right.
You know, it's not a level playing field all year long. So there's going to be mistakes made, and we only get one game to decide if it was a mistake that somebody gets in.
Right.
It's all about matchups. And, I mean, I think this happens 9 out of 10 times, you know, every single year.
Yep.
We get, you know, there's going to be one time that one special team makes a run, whether they win the championship or not, or just get there. It's going to happen, and that's the reason why you're doing it, so one of these teams doesn't get dismissed. So I had no problem with the 4 teams that got in. I think we could have made better matchups, but that it is what it is. You know, like Indiana was a terrible matchup for Notre Dame.
I'm not even convinced there's ever going to be a special, right? Like I think the special run might be that Ohio State could win the national title as an 8 seed this year. And we're like, wow, 8 seed, but they're Ohio State. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know that there's ever going to be. It is so incredibly difficult for these outsiders to be able to compete at the level of what these other programs are able to do, man. Like they just have so many more. At Ohio State, fans are pissed off that they didn't fill an arena for the pep rally. I need that to be like that. Ohio State, they think it's embarrassing that an entire arena wasn't filled, that there were empty seats in the upper deck of an arena for their pep rally before a football game. Yeah. That's what exists at some of these places. So to imagine that that an outsider, that one year a Maryland or a Vanderbilt or a Rutgers or something like that could crash the party, that the resources ain't there. The infrastructure ain't there to allow it. Indiana was never crashing the party. They were just given an invite because they did what they were supposed to do this season. And I agree with you. That's the way it should be. It should be that way. But we all knew exactly what was going to happen.
The other thing I'd say about that, too, is like I don't know that it's going to be a secondary piece from a big conference that ends up being the team that makes a run, unless maybe they had some injuries at the beginning of the year. But I always want to see that 1 or 2 teams that, you know, people are looking at going, I don't know if they deserve to be there. Boise, I want to see them play. You know, I wanted to see all these things, you know, and I understand they won their conference, but like it was a weak conference. But you know, it's just it's a tough thing for me to kind of look at. It would
be very cool if Boise State or Arizona State were to win a playoff game. Like that would be really cool. I just don't think there's a chance in hell that they can win a national championship. Like I don't see that.
Well, Oregon, it's funny because like Oregon's the 1 seed, and I feel like they have the worst draw of the other 3 because when you looked at the matchups, you knew what you were going to get. At least I did.
And it's unbelievable. The undefeated 1 seed is a dog. Is a dog in their first playoff game, which is nuts. That is crazy to me. All right, buddy. Merry Christmas. Love you. What's the
plan? Tell your lovely wife I'm sorry for your loss.
I appreciate that. I think I'm supposed to call into your show one day this week.
Yes, we gotta get together and figure out when we're gonna promote that.
I gotta figure that out. But I'll talk to you about it, and we'll make a plan for it. Love you, pal. We will see you next Monday. We'll be hot docking it. We'll do some docking.
We'll be at the bar getting tipsy.
You and I. The thing that everybody always asks for, Jeremy and I docking next Monday. It's happening. It's happening,
buddy.
Love you, bud. Merry Christmas. It's Jeremy Conn with us. He's on, I think, every day but Wednesday on 105.7 The Fan this week. So one of these days I'm checking in with him. That's the way it's going to go. All right. There has been baseball news today. I can't believe it.
Actually.
Eloy Jimenez is not returning.
What?
Unreal.
Deontay Johnson, now Eloy Jimenez?
I know. That's why we had to block out the whole day to talk about our memory. He goes to the Rays on a minor league deal. Earlier today, Walker Buehler goes to the Red Sox on a 1-year deal. Would have been good with that. Really hard to think that there can be a bad 1-year deal. I know it's $21 million. And, like, you know, we're basing it off how he pitched in the postseason last year. But, like, again, it's $21 million total.
He was coming off of something shoulder. I think like he was.
Would have taken that chance. Me personally, I would have taken that chance. I get it. Not my choice. But it's a chance that I would have taken. And so it is. Not going to happen. Jock Peterson goes to the Rangers for 2 years. Not somebody that I think anybody was thinking about in Baltimore, obviously, because there's no need for Jock Peterson, but he goes to the Rangers for a 2-year deal. And
Sean Manaea.
Sean Manaea goes back to the Mets. Correct.
Yes.
3 years, $75 million.
Would you have done that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Even that, it's hard for me to say. I get it. It's a lot of money, and I don't know exactly what Sean Manaea is. I don't. But it's 3 years. It's 3 years. Like this is. If you're saying we can't do the Max Fried deal, if that's the point, then the point should be okay. Then you got to be willing to do this. And I get it. They can't have all of them, and the offseason's still not over, and Corbin Burns in particular is still available on the free agent market. Somebody was banging the Nick Pivetta drum this weekend. Who was it?
Zach's always banging. It wasn't.
It wasn't Zach. It was somebody.
Paul? No.
No, it was somebody. I'm not with respect. It was somebody.
Oh, I gotcha.
Like somebody more. Hang on a second.
Someone plugged in.
Well, but I don't know. It was somebody banging the drum that they were like. I think it was like, hey, the Orioles. It was Jim Palmer is who it was.
Ah, okay.
He's noteworthy. If the O's don't sign Corbin Burns, my under-the-radar Christmas choice would be Nick Pivetta. As all teams know, never enough starters. The Royals upgraded their starters in 2024 all the way to the Division Series. With the comparison being like the Royals go out and get Seth Lugo and Michael Wacha, and none of us are like, oh, man, that's the guy I wanted. But clearly, particularly Seth Lugo ends up being the difference maker for the Royals.
Right.
Yeah. Like, yeah. If you're asking me yay or nay on Nick Pivetta, yay. I don't think it's as binary as that. Like, I think there's a broader choice to be made. But if it's a binary yes or no on Nick Pivetta, yes. Yes, definitively, yes on Nick Pivetta. It's not a binary choice. Like, there are others that I would be more interested in Nick Pivetta. But if they sign Nick Pivetta tomorrow, okay. It's something. It's something. And there are things to like about that. But there's only so much out there at this point.
Right.
With Manaea off the table in particular. And Buehler, who that really was kind of high on my, like, under the radar. I'd like that. Is that Tony? Is Tony out there? I heard somebody say the word socks, so I'm assuming it's Tony Iafola. Tony, is that you? Yes, sir. Hey, get in here. We're winding down. We're winding down. Oh, yeah, he always comes. Tony's unbelievable. Tony's amazing. We are collecting for Helping Up Mission, and no one is more helpful than our guy Tony Iafola. By the way, I think Tony won something from us, like a gift card or something like that a while back, and maybe never was able to connect with you. So I would like to figure out what it was and go from there. I don't remember. Tony has like all these fake names that he uses on the internet.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what his deal is. I don't know what his. I don't know. I never know what's going on. Mom, the meatloaf. I never know what's going on with him up there. But he uses all these different. I'm not kidding. This is straight shoot. He has 2 different Facebook accounts, and neither one of them are his name. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to explain it. But my guy, hey, get in here. Come say hello.
Love it. What's happening, guys?
Love you, buddy. I'm sorry we weren't able to do the whole thing and have the whole crew here today. It's Griffin. What do we owe you? What do we owe you? Here, you want these? You want these? You want these? Can't.
Give to one of your kids.
Well, I'm going to, but I have more. I have more. Do you want to use them for something that you do? Well, at least one, maybe? All right, use that. Don't we owe you a gift card of some sort, too? Stop.
Sure?
Stop that. Tony does so much charity stuff. It's insane. Could you use a gift card of some sort? All right, shut up. We're taking a commercial break so I can actually talk to you like a human instead of you just have. He's so unassuming. Tony how many socks did you bring?
600.
Yeah, 600. He brings 600 socks. And it's just like, I don't need anything. I don't want anything. That's the type of guy Tony is. But I want to help him because he does a bunch of other wonderful things. He does wonderful things for the community constantly. What do we need to do to say? County Sports Zone.
Yeah.
Go there for all your high school sports coverage. Basketball season. Governor's Challenge is getting underway this week. Stay up to date on everything going on with all the local teams at the Governor's Challenge. Every score from every game, from everyone all over the state, they got you covered. High school basketball, high school sports in general, County Sports Zone, countysports.zone, proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. We got one more segment to go, tidbit and tuba to wrap it up. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
The ultimate fan experience awaits you at Sports and Social Maryland. See how we're raising the sports bar with our massive 100-foot media wall featuring 40 HD TVs and a 47-foot big screen. Bet on your favorite teams and this year's biggest events at the FanDuel Sportsbook while enjoying your favorite beers and cocktails, plus our delicious takes on bar food classics. Visit Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, at Arundel Mills. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from DriveEasyMD.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. Learn more at DriveEasyMD.com.
Pressbox's Project Game Day is the place to be after every game this season. Join Glenn Clark, Rita Hubbard, Super Bowl XXXV champion Femi Ayanbadejo, and our cast of regulars as they break down what happened, why it mattered, and what it means moving forward. You can watch the show at PressBoxOnline.com/GameDay or Pressbox's Facebook and YouTube pages. Project Game Day is brought to you by the Green Turtle Sportsbook in Towson and Canton, Easy Pass, and HelpMyGamblingProblem.org. So join us for Project Game Day after every game day this football season at PressBoxOnline.com/GameDay.
Treat yourself and taste the Baltimore tradition that is the legendary Costas Inn. Hey, it's Stan the Fan Charles. For over 50 years, the Costas Inn has been a Baltimore original, dishing out their amazingly scrumptious, fat, award-winning crab cakes and steamed crabs. Every season is crab season at Costas, so make your plans now by calling 410-477-1975 and reserve your taste of heaven. Sit back, crack some crabs, and watch the Ravens chase down another title on Costas's 15 TVs. On Monday nights, Costas offers their half-pound jumbo lump crab cake with 2 sides for under $30, and there are nightly specials Monday through Friday. So head on down to the Costas Inn at 4100 North Point Boulevard or visit them at CostasInn.com.
The votes were all counted, and the results are official. Royal Farms was named #1 for food in the USA Today 10 Best poll, receiving more votes than any other convenience store chain in America. The next time you want to get some good food fast, doesn't it make sense to go to Royal Farms? Voted best in the USA and home of world-famous chicken. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The top high school basketball talent from across the country returns to the Wycomico Civic Center December 26th through 30th for the Governor's Challenge presented by Pohanka of Salisbury. Witness 5 full days of elite competition featuring over 140 high school basketball teams from 16 states plus Canada. Multiple top 10 teams and nationally ranked players will display their talents on the court. Don't miss the best experience in high school hoops. For tickets and info, visit govchallenge.org.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
Back in here on GCR as we're winding down for a Monday edition of the program. I guess we talked about the print issue of Pressbox when we were chatting with Tom Rinaldi, but make sure you go out and get it. It is available for free wherever you get Pressbox, including all the area Royal Farm stores. You can read it all at PressBoxOnline.com. It is our annual Best of issue, featuring, of course, our Mo Gabba Sports Person of the Year, Lamar Jackson. Highly controversial choice. Very difficult.
Tom Rinaldi was like,
yeah, I don't know.
I guess.
Right? Like, not sure if you heard Adley Rutschman hit well for 2 weeks. Yeah, we went with Lamar. He's on the cover. And a great cover story from Bo Smolka about that authenticity, about exactly what Tom Rinaldi was discussing. Great cover story from Bo Smolka. Go pick it up for free today. Tony, slide into the mic real quick. Would you say hello? Would you? Tony Iafola.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Has been like the most supportive person ever for everything that Drew and I have ever done.
I'm just following your footsteps. You guys are something else.
You're unbelievable, man. Tony, I love you, first of all, and I am eternally grateful for you. Tony, you can we plug you? What you do, I'm always dizzied by all of the various. You have anything active that's going on right now that we can plug for you?
Archie's Blankets Across America.
Archie's Blankets Across America. And is Facebook the best place for people to?
It is.
So search Archie's Blankets Across America, and explain.
So this all came about a couple years ago, but what you guys do really is what gave me the idea years ago. How else can I help out communities? But this is more about blankets for homeless dogs, shelter dogs. It can also be for rescue dogs, but all those dogs that don't have homes. And really it was for street rescues at first. There's so many strays in cities across America, and I can't do everything, so I'm like, what can I do to help out? And this came about last year, and we started it in January, and we raised over $11,500 this year. We gave out $11,400 and some dollars worth of blankets.
That is awesome.
All across the country. So what you guys, you guys stayed with NST for a while there, and what you guys, all the people, Jay Conn, Forrester, everybody came out of there. You guys are good people. And
well, again, we do some good things. I don't know if we can say broadly that we're good people, but we do some good things. I love that, and the way that Tony does it is like the same type of. He'll do
opening day tickets this year.
Yeah.
Block pools,
Kentucky
Derby pool,
wheels,
all
stuff
kinds of
like
raffle
that.
Wheels.
So if you just go follow that page or friend that page, you'll get updates and stuff that he's got going on. And I love that, man. I would like to do more of this throughout the course of the year. I get overwhelmed by it, and then I'm like, oh, right, we got to do that. Like, we got to get back around to it. And then obviously this year kind of got flipped upside down a little bit. But you are the man, and I've always appreciated
Like I say, I just try and follow in your guys' footsteps. You guys were what really got me going into this, and anything I can help to repay you guys, and Helping Up Mission is a great. We've done this how many years now?
This is 15 years with Helping Up Mission, man. 15 years with Helping Up Mission.
It's great. I've never been down there when you guys drop it off. I'm always working.
Oh, you want to come this year?
But it's
I'll work that out with you. We'd love to have. It's not. I feel bad. It's not quite the same as when we would take all the clothes down.
Right.
And like that was, they were. Leah, love you. Merry Christmas. Thank you. That's Leah. She's the best. We're doing next Monday. We're gonna do a drinking show. All right, you're drinking with us. Love her. But yeah, when we would do that, I would lose. I mean, I would just lose it. Like, it was something as small as, someone picking up a sweater and saying, I'm gonna have a Christmas gift to give my daughter this year. I'd be like,
shows you have heart.
I have to walk away for a second, like it was too much. It's not quite the same with deodorant. You know what I mean? Like, it's not quite but truth be told, I was reminded today, the last year we did clothes, this year they've still been giving out clothes from what we raised the last time we did. That's
awesome.
And I remember that year, whatever year it was, the last year that we did clothes, was we had to take 2 different trucks of all the clothes that we collected. And so that was why they asked us to switch. It's something that people don't know about shelters. Like, shelters get lots of clothes donations throughout the course of the year, which doesn't mean they don't need more. They do. But they finally came to me and said, hey, the thing we've never talked to you guys about, we really need toiletries. We really need underwear. People don't just show up during the course of the year and leave us toothbrushes and toothpaste. But, like, all year long, people will stop by and just donate some more clothes. Like, we've got enough clothes to get by for a while. We desperately need toiletries and underwear. And that became a much more difficult ask because we're like, would you guys just stop by with some underwear? Like, that's a tougher thing to do. Tony has gamed the system. He's figured out every year he finds, like, the cheapest, not cheapest made, but, like, the most economical bulk way to purchase socks. And that's what they need.
Yep, socks to you and I are probably nothing.
Yeah, we don't think about it. They need them. Yep. Need them.
And the saying always goes, take your $5 that you would spend for Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts every day, save it one day a week, and $20 end of the month you got $20, and that goes a long way for these.
It goes an extraordinary long way, and I am eternally appreciative of it. And we'll do this again next Monday, and we'll have the whole crew in here. If you want to come by next Monday again, everybody will be here. Jeremy will be here. Drew will be here. The whole crew will be in here next Monday. For the drinking show, and I'm sorry we weren't able to do it today. As you can see, my 7-year-old is just deathly ill, just flying off the handle everywhere today, losing his mind. All right, Griffin, you want to do it? Go ahead and do tidbit.
The top high school basketball talent from across the country once again returns to the Wycomico Civic Center December 26th through the 30th for the Governor's Challenge, presented by Pohanka of Salisbury. Witness 5 full days of elite competition featuring over 140 high school basketball teams from 16 states plus Canada. Multiple top 10 teams and nationally ranked players will display their talents on the court. Don't miss the best experience in high school hoops. For tickets and information, visit govchallenge.org.
All right, what you got?
Let's. I guess we start with. Donnie freaking Lynn, man, in the Mount St. Mary's.
Oh yeah,
Mountaineers.
Mount St. Mary's went on the road and beat Miami on Saturday. That's a great win.
I mean, maybe Miami just really is that bad, but I think that's a big win.
Awesome win for Donnie.
First win over an ACC team for the Mount since.
I actually saw it, but I don't remember what it
95.
was.
1995, the last time the Mount had a win over an ACC team. So, yeah.
Congratulations.
Really yes.
Coach. First season as head coach at Mount St. Mary's. Great road win. By the way, speaking of great wins, Maryland pasted Syracuse on Saturday. Just obliterated them. And the final score is not even really indicative of how lopsided it was.
They were up 53-17, right?
It was insane how dominant that performance was. Now, again, Syracuse is not they're not a national championship contender. They're not a Sweet 16 contender. I don't think they're an NCAA tournament contender, but they are still a viable, ACC program. And that was if Maryland can do that, they were also knocking down shots. Like Selton Miguel was tremendous in the first half. They were knocking down shots. It was that was their best performance of the season.
Towson got a win yesterday too.
Much needed over Bryant.
Definitely needed it. All right, so then Jaden Daniels yesterday against the I guess we never officially. I guess we kind of recap picks,
well, we kind of did. I don't need to go game by game. We run out of time.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a complicated story because a huge part of that story was Jalen Hurts getting hurt. There's no doubt, and we're kind of glossing over that part. Still, the Eagles had a very good defense, and Jaden Daniels did a number on a very good Eagles defense. Like, all of these things can be true. Are the Commanders better than the Eagles? Absolutely not.
Maybe.
No, absolutely not. Are the Commanders better than the Eagles if Kenny Pickett has to keep playing for them? Absolutely. Or potentially, anyway.
Yeah, maybe Tanner McKee.
Right. God, Kenny Pickett. Ugh. Buzz your girlfriend. Woof. But, yeah, like, he still did what he did, and it was still a fun game to watch.
He became the third human being ever to have 5 touchdown passes and 75 rushing yards in a game. Jaden Daniels joins.
Tony, you got to help me with guesses.
2 others in NFL history.
Lamar Jackson?
Lamar Jackson has done this twice, both during that 2019 season. That Monday night game against the Rams, and then was it a Thursday night game when they played the Jets? It was against the Jets and Rams in 2019.
I don't remember when the Jets game was.
Yeah, it was a primetime game, though, right?
Was it? Okay,
Yeah.
I believe you.
Yeah, I think it was a Thursday.
The other one was Randall Cunningham.
Not Randall Cunningham.
McNabb.
Not McNabb.
Michael Vick.
Not Mike Vick.
Cam Newton.
Cam Newton.
All
Yes.
right.
There you go.
All
And
right. I
so-
didn't even need you. I didn't even need you.
Lamar's MVP season and Cam Newton's MVP season back in 2015. So Jane Daniels, that means I guess
He's MVP.
Yeah, he's gonna
I think
win.
so, but you know, I hear you.
And then I had then we'll do so then Lamar also did he broke the franchise record, his own franchise record
For passing yards.
passing touchdowns.
Well, he set a new career high for passing yards as well. I guess
he
it wouldn't be
did?
the record
Yeah.
because Vinny probably has that. I didn't even think about
I didn't
that.
pull up I can do yards. I was gonna do touchdowns. I can do
All right.
yards real quick.
Yeah, do yards. Maybe do both.
Okay, so
Whatever.
Lamar. Can you name the other top 5 touchdown season? So Lamar has 1 and 2.
All right.
Can
So
you
are there 5 other players?
No, it'd be 3, just 3 other seasons.
3 other.
But there are different players in there.
3.
There's 3 players.
3 players that have had the other. Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco. He would be the second, or the third highest player because his highest total, at least as a Raven, 27 touchdowns. Vinny would be 33. That is who Lamar broke in 2019.
And then there's one other one.
I mean, there's not. All right, the next player
really
with the most
said this
touchdowns.
poorly. This is
I guess
really
so,
stated
but
quite poorly.
most-
McNair would be the most likely scenario. No?
McNair had 16 and 06. One guy had 17.
God, football was so different back then. God, we all think of McNair having a really good season, and he had 16 passing touchdowns. Dude, that is a... I'm not crazy. We think about that season as being a special... It's also what we were dealing with in Baltimore. It was Bowler the year he had those huge games against the Vikings and the Packers.
Not Bowler. The most Bowler had was 13 in 04.
That was probably the year he had those huge games against the Vikings and the Packers. It felt like he did all of it
his
in 2
touchdowns were in
games.
those?
2 games at the end of the year. One was on Christmas. The other was on Monday Night Football. He had 2 back-to-back really good games over the Vikings and Packers, and we were all like, maybe Kyle Bowler's really a thing. Definitively not a thing.
17 touchdowns. I don't want to say the year yet, but
Elvis.
Nope, not Elvis. Elvis had 15 in 01.
Certainly wasn't Stoney Case.
No, it definitely wasn't Stoney Case. Christ.
Let's see. He only played 12
Randall?
games this year. No, not Randall.
He only played 12 games that year. Yeah. It probably wasn't Dilfer because they didn't score any touchdowns that
Dilfer
year.
had 12 in 2000.
I can't believe he had 12, to be honest
12
with
touchdowns
you.
in 2000.
Only played 12
He
games.
averaged, won a game and played 11 games that year.
Jeff Blake?
Nope.
Anthony Wright?
Nope. Jeff Blake had 13 in 02. Gosh,
Anthony Wright had like 5 against the Seahawks.
I'm like wondering why my parents made me maybe a Ravens fan, because this is what I was growing up with. These were the quarterbacks.
Oh God, it was miserable. It was miserable.
Jeff Blake, Gerback,
and
then this guy.
This guy
was he a lefty?
Was he? I don't know. I don't know. Was he?
Was it Jim Harbaugh?
No, it wasn't Jim Harbaugh.
Oh.
I don't know his handedness.
Scott Mitchell.
No.
Tony Banks?
Tony Banks
Okay.
in 1999 had
Okay.
17. So I guess, when you're going by, he's top 5 players.
Yeah,
top
and,
five
he,
player
and he had a
wise.
hell of a game against the Jaguars in the following season, and then nothing.
The most yards in a season then?
Most yards.
So
Vinny?
Nope, not Vinny.
No?
Yeah.
Flacco?
Flacco in 2016.
Oh, and yeah.
Had 4,300. Vinny had 4,177. Lamar's highest total he did set on Saturday, and then I guess it would be the same names that we're doing.
Yeah,
here
it's
now.
the same group of.
McNair would be the next. Would be 4th, with 3,000 in 2006.
Who was the running back in 06 that pilfered all the touchdowns then? If McNair, or was it just Matt Stover all season long? Maybe it was just. God, I don't.
Because was that the year they went 13 and.
Yeah,
3?
that was the best season in Ravens history at that point, and was until obviously the 14-win season a couple years ago.
Ravens 06 season. Let's see.
Because Jamal was gone by then. Right?
Jamal was still. They said
he's still in 06.
Yeah,
and he
Jamal was
left.
still on the
He
team.
left after that year.
I guess so. Yeah, had to be.
Okay, all right, then that's the answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Mark Clayton.
All these years kind of run together. Mark Clayton had a great year that
Todd
year.
Heap, Dan Wilcox.
If Mark Clayton had had Steve McNair for his career, he would have been a quality NFL player, but just unfortunately wasn't the case. All right, Tidbit was also brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel.
That's right, it was, and Glenn covered it earlier, but yeah, every time that Baltimore or Washington's football team score a touchdown during home games this season, you're getting $7 in free slot play at Live Casino. Hopefully you made a big weekend out of it on Saturday and Sunday because both were home and both scored quite a good bit of touchdowns. Jane Daniels tossing 5 of them. But yeah, you got to have your live rewards card inserted into the slot machine and be actively playing as well to get your prize. But once those touchdowns score, live rewards members get $7 in free slot play. At Arnold Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, let's get tubular.
Have you ever thought of taking a cruise to these wonderful destinations with sunny skies and beautiful beaches? Well, wait no longer. We're ready for you to cruise from the Cruise Maryland Terminal.
Have a little phrase that you can go from baggage to margarita in about 15 minutes.
Choose fun with an array of destinations, onboard activities, entertainment, and world-class cuisine.
Contact your travel agent and book your cruise today. Let your adventure begin.
I need you to get a picture of this. My son is sitting on the top of the couch. Laying on the top of the couch. It's really hard to describe to people if they don't see it. Like, he's just laying, not on the couch, atop the couch. Which, by the way, if we had done the drinking show, that might be what I would have looked like at about this time today. But instead, that's what my son is doing out in the other room. Why not? Why not? Why not? All right. Here's what's coming up totally tubular-wise. Not a ton. As Jeremy mentioned, the Myrtle Beach Bowl is underway. Hell yeah. Maybe we should update the standing. Tony, did you get in the bowl pick'em or did you just?
I did not. I sat this one out. I wanted somebody awesome to win this one.
Well, right now, 2 undefeated.
I was shocked when I saw the
2 12-0s, including
Grant.
And that's
that'd be PFF Sean's
little brother.
Yeah, little brother. Yeah.
PFF. How old is Grant?
He's 21.
Oh, forget it.
Yeah,
It's not.
little
It's not a fun story then.
Yeah. But
I take it back.
He's in his 20s.
I thought it was like a 13-year-old winning the bracket contest. Never mind. But he's undefeated, as is our friend Kelly Sanford, who previously was a finalist. She came in second in last year's bracket contest.
Oh.
So
yeah, I feel like she's always like.
Yeah, she's always right in the
she's
mix.
Locked in
right in the mix. So she's 12-0. Now, in fairness, it's mostly been chalk to this point in the bowl pick'em.
I'm 9-3.
I'm
so
10-2.
Yeah. I was just picking the wrong upsets here.
11-1. Bobby Jones, my cousin Duncan, Tony Cordwell. Who's Luke Shrek?
Shrek? We got Shrek in the bowl pick'em?
Shrek himself. My friend Ryan's son. That is a kid who's at 11-1.
Ryan's son. Wait.
Yeah, Ryan and his son, not Ryan Chell. Ryan
and
Flanders and his son both are 11-1, and John Little Rock is 11-1. And then in the 10-2 crew,
Enjoy it while it lasts, John.
Okay, Brian Powell's in the 10-2 crew. I'm 10-2. Paul and Ovi Lando, Ken Zales among those. Paul's son among those that are sitting at 10-2. So that's where we are. The bowl pick'em today. The Myrtle Beach Bowl going on right now. I'm going to lose because I picked Coastal Carolina and they're getting shellacked. Oh, I don't know ball. I'm not a ball knower.
I had the Roadrunners. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not a ball knower. Texas San Antonio up 21-0.
Meep meep.
Do they have the ball too? Or they? Oh no, Coastal Carolina's fourth and goal. Got it. That's on ESPN.
Punts. That's the way the college football
fourth
plays.
and goal.
Yeah.
From then the Potato Bowl this afternoon, Northern Illinois, Fresno State at 2:30. Monday Night Football tonight, 8:15. Saints Packers.
I need 14 from Love and the Packers defense. So I'm good,
Yeah,
right?
I think you're good.
Okay.
I think I need 2.
I also need Josh Jacobs to rush for -100.
Ooh, I got a
and
bad
also maybe
feeling
like fumble once or twice.
You're not
That'd be
gonna
good
get
too.
that. I actually think I'm good going into tonight. I think I'm locked up. I lost in one league, but in Ryan Ripken's league, I pulled off the upset this week. Rita had steamrolled Ryan Ripken's league with the triumvirate of Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, and Saquon Barkley. And in fairness, that wasn't the problem this week. Lamar had 21.5, Saquon had 27, Derrick Henry had 21, right? Like, they all delivered. But Michael Pittman did not for her. So I am winning. I have a 10-point lead, and I still have the Packers defense. Do I sit the Packers defense?
You're up by.
I'm up by 10.
You're up by 10.
There's
I
no
think
way
you
they're
can give
losing
10
points.
I mean, I guess,
that's not.
They
yeah,
have
I know.
nobody, I mean,
it seems like a dumb
might
thing
as well,
to say.
You might as well bench them.
Yeah, I mean, like, if I bench them, it's over. If I play them,
bench them.
There's the 1 in a million chance that they lose 10 points. So, yeah, I will go ahead and put them on the bench.
The Saints with Kendra Miller and Spencer Rattler score 70 tonight.
Yeah, right.
You got to bench them.
Right, yep. So I'm good. I'm done. And there can't be a 10-point adjustment, right? Like, there's no way that's coming. So I'll be in the final in Ryan Ripken's league. And then the Press Box League, this was hairy. I was following tantalizingly along with this one. Joe Serpico and I in the playoffs, I had like 4 guys left in the late window. I had James Cook. I had Debo. I had Brenton Strange. Thanks for nothing. Khalil Shakir. Thanks for nothing. Literally, the Bills game ended. I was still down by 2 points.
Man, of course, I scored the most points in that league again. Of course.
Yeah, really helpful. Brenton Strange did nothing, so no help at all. Khalil Shakir never caught a ball. It was down to Debo.
Oh my gosh, that was a close. Oh my god!
That last 27-yard pass when they were down by when they were out of it, but still trying to come back. That 27-yard pass to Debo.
167 to 165.
Yep, that ended up being the difference. That was my saving grace, and so I beat Joe Serpico, and I'm into the final in the Press Box League. So that was good news.
Who are you playing against?
I'm Ken Z.
I don't know who to root for. I don't.
Yeah, right. We're both awful people.
Both
yeah, exactly right. We're terrible. We'll have some smack talk on Thursday when we do picks. Anyway, Saints Packers 8:15 ABC and ESPN. College hoops. The tournament out in Hawaii this week continues. Games all night tonight on ESPN2. And Seattle takes on Washington at 10 on Big Ten Network. Middle Tennessee at 7 on SEC Network. Capitals Bruins 7 on Monumental. Wizards Thunder at 8 on Monumental 2. NBA TV Spurs Sixers at 7. Pacers Warriors at 10. USA for WWE Raw tonight at 8. Non-sports.
There wasn't really anything. What If is there's the new season of that, or the final season actually.
Yeah,
What If there's new episodes of that this week.
I know the kids enjoy that.
Yeah. It's the 2024 Back That Year Up with Kevin Hart and Kenan Thompson
Nope.
on Peacock.
Nope.
I thought we were gonna watch it.
No, we're sure not.
That's it. There's
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. All right, very good.
I mean, there was really nothing else, like really the whole week. It's a kind of a slow week. Oh, we got Price is Right, holiday special.
Oh, hell yeah. We got
tomorrow
that
night,
going for
tomorrow
us,
night.
which is nice.
Yes, but yeah.
All right.
We're watching football.
All right. What you got? Tell me about the Governor's Challenge one more time.
You're getting you're getting good basketball.
There
with
you
the
are,
Governor's
100%.
Challenge.
That's right.
And it starts the day after Christmas, December 26th through the 30th. Top high school basketball talent from across the country returning to the Wicomico Civic Center. Presented by Pohanco Salisbury. Witness 5 full days of elite competition featuring over 140 high school basketball teams from 16 states plus Canada. Multiple top 10 teams and nationally ranked players displaying their talents on the court. Don't miss the best experience in high school sports. For tickets and info, visit govchallenge.org for more info and tickets.
Tony, appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, as always. You're back next Monday?
I will be.
We're going to have some fun. Next Monday, our drinking show. Next Monday, book it. And we do still have a handful of Zay Flowers. Thanks to everybody who came by today. Thank you so much, Steve and Susan and Chris. And thank you all for stopping by today. But we do still have a handful of the Zay Flowers autographed pictures for next Monday and the drinking show, which will be the last chance for you to get in with your donations for helping up Mission before we take them down. Also, we are off tomorrow, Wednesday, but we'll be back Thursday. Tomorrow, check the website. We'll have picks up for the Christmas games, and we will have 5 plays up at glennclarkradio.com. So some content for you on the website. No show tomorrow or Wednesday. Back on Thursday to recap Ravens-Texans. So we'll be doing 5 pats on the ass and 5 plays all over again to wrap up the week. All right. Thanks today to Ian Petrella. That was fun. Thanks also to Tom Rinaldi, to Femi, and to Conn. We'll get it all up in the greatest hits section of the
Can You Take Me Higher?
There's my guy, tab at glennclarkradio.com. Thanks, everybody, Pressbox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Visit Hartford, Live Casino and Hotel, Cruise Maryland, Crown Trophy, Easy Pass, Royal Farms, The Governor's Challenge, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, Costa Sin, MSAA, Maryland Sports, the Baltimore Orioles, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a very Merry Christmas. And I know it's also the start of Hanukkah, so happy Hanukkah as well. Whatever you are doing, please be safe. Do not drink and drive. I beg you, implore you, do not drink and drive. But have a great holiday. We'll see you on Thursday. And go Ravens on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Duke sucks.